Oh, man, put my boy here. Yeah. Yeah.
Me call you back. I on the radio.
We can start, buddy.
Yes, again, let me say a welcome, a pleasant welcome again to another edition of the closing document. Today is February 12th, and the year stands are exactly 2024 again. We love to say welcome to it. And one good thing you can do is that share the show, invite someone to follow the live because it's going to be very, very interesting on tonight. Too many things happening, and as they happen, we can rest assure you that we want to tell them exactly. So again, let me say welcome to it. Welcome to the first day, Monday, the Monday presentation of the closing document. And as a matter of fact, this program has also been relayed on Hot FM at 107.9 and 2FM at Nimba County, a second period, 106.9 as well. And our other affiliate radio station also. So join the live, invite someone. Let me say welcome to it. My name is Henry Jara. I'm here from the Renaissance of Radio 96.1 at 2FM. And alongside me, St. Tomalin George. Let me say, how are you?
Heron, good to be back as Monday, February 12th. Good to be back on the closing argument. After a great weekend. Hope you had a great weekend. I know right now everybody they say rain now. Everybody looking for mana, right? They say the town hot. No current, right? Anybody hear him? No current.
That's exactly.
Yeah, no current. Everybody telling me today say no current. Current like bro. Everybody said in darkness. What's going on so?
Later this evening, current came. I was home before coming to work. Current came. The current band.
Yeah. And then they said the mob been rough again too. Everybody crying for money now, right now. That's true. They say money. They say you're enjoying. They say the money floating in the country right now. Everybody getting mad. Anybody you say hello to the new government, they give you mad.
Hey.
What I heard was is it when you see more, say Molly hello, Molly give you mad. You see that person, they give you mad. Anybody say hello, give you mad.
No.
Oh. Hey. I heard they say everybody getting mad right now, but anyway. Yeah, but a lot's happening, man. A lot's happening, and it's good to be back and welcome. We on Hot FM, 2FM on Dupo Road, Hot FM on Broad Street there. We are all there, and then we on YouTube, and we are broadcasting live. The closing argument comes on right now on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but we'll soon be going full time as soon as we get adjusted to certain technical issues we are working on. But Henry, give me some speed up with the happenings in the town. I know that the chief of staff, the armed forces, the defense minister resigned today. The president addressed the nation. Also, there's some controversial appointments that was made by the president that the Front Page Africa is carrying that person is still a fugitive from justice, and that person was nominated by the president last week. So all of these, the vice president I think he's in Nigeria right now. I heard the president will be leaving for Ethiopia tomorrow. I don't know whether he will still make the trip. Today, Armed Forces Day celebration, I think it wasn't held with the regular Pullman pageantry because of the protests and other issues. But you on the ground, give us some updates of what's happening on the ground.
Thank you, Tomalin. As it relates to the resignation of the former chief of staff who was appointed by the president, His Excellency Joseph Human Boakat, and then just before or as soon as the appointment came, and then we saw a lot of protests around. Wives of some AFL personnel were in the street. All one time I was going to town right around the UN building. They were there in their numbers with their placards against. They were saying that the the appointed chief of staff Prince C. Johnson should not be confirmed by then. So that was actually the beginning of his resignation, where it started from. So, and on that same day, his confirmation was also going on. They were also carrying a confirmation while the women were in the street, and then saying that it should be confirmed. So, over the period of times, read the exact date of his confirmation. On that same day again, we saw women in the street, some AFS women from both sides. You see people from the Keresborough barrack, the EBK barracks, from all over the barrack on the Ralphie Highway. They were also there too, saying that it should not be confirmed. So just on today, they were saying it should not be confirmed, but he was confirmed. He took his post. He was given the power authority to go and serve. But the controversy all around, and then he saw it necessary. But I think in my own mind, he did it because he wanted the country to be at peace. Because you cannot get a job, and then people are quarreling all around. Why should you get a job? So to let go of everything, on today he resigned his post, and then which it has been all around. And on yesterday was the Armed Forces Day here in Liberia, and today is the celebration. Then just on today again, we saw a roadblock coming from. There was no car coming from Ralphie, or to ERW, and there was no car coming from Kingsburg Barrack to Montserrato as well.
Wow.
We see that we have women there. Some of them even carry pot, they carry rice, they carry mattresses. They said that if they cannot get a final hearing on the resignation of Prince Johnson today, they will not leave from the place. So they've been there since day, and then just few hours back, we saw the resignation of the appointed chief of staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Prince Johnson. He resigned his post. So we're still looking to see on tomorrow what's going to actually happen. But that's the breaking news right now in Liberia. Why should he resign post? So too many people doing their own interpretation. Some of them say, "Oh, you have to resign because you can't get a group of women crying on your name as always." But I think in my own mind did it because of just to hold the peace of the country instead of the country going through quarreling, just to hold the peace. So I think it has actually been resolved, and we look for, and then the Jordan George, as we also aware, she been in the army for some time, and she was actually given a post to become the chief of staff, the acting chief of staff for now until otherwise other.
Acting chief of staff, acting defense minister.
Acting defense minister, sorry.
Well,
Acting
Chairman
defense
Ben
minister.
Sanvee is here. I'm sure he will give us some speed up with some new development. I mean, Ben, you listened to the president's speech? I haven't listened to it yet.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Thank you, and it's good to be here. Thank you, Henry. I did. I actually just listened to it again because I was trying to form my thoughts on what is really happening. Right. A couple of things. I don't know if I saw presidential leadership today. There is the jury is out on this one, right? Whether this is the right decision. Okay. So the jury is out on whether the decision made by the president to accept there's information that that the general was pressured to resign. That this was not something that he did on his own. There's also news that that even though he was pressured, also, but then ultimately he made the decision to resign. Right, but I don't know if I saw presidential leadership today, because let me tell you what do I mean. I know the jury is out on that, Tomalin. I think a Pandora box was open today, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think the Boycott administration is going to live to regret this day. And the reason I say so is because we live in a very, very peculiar and unique country, right? We also live in an African country. This notion that citizens can agitate to the extent that one of the most important ministers in the government, who have not really served in the last, I don't even think he's been in office for about a week since he got confirmed, right? Can agitate, and guess what? And he can resign. Okay. Henry, you want to get off the screen, because I think yeah. So my thing is, I'm a little confused, because I'm concerned, because look, Tomalin, whether we like it or not, democracy is messy, right? The will of the people, yes, people have a say, but ministers serve at the pleasure of the president. The fact that the president of Liberia met with them yesterday, because that's what I was told, that's what I knew, is that he met with them yesterday. He asked for them to give the government some time to look into their grievances. He asked for them to give him, as commander-in-chief, some time to be able to go out there and talk and figure out what the issues were. Mind you, Tomalin, the president is 3 weeks in office, 4 weeks in office, right? So there's no way he probably know the grasp of everything that he's dealing with at this point in time. The fact that I want to believe that they left the president with a commitment that they were going to give him the chance to work on this issue. But the fact that they did not listen to the president, that they went out there today in a coordinated, that is what people are not paying attention to here. This thing was well coordinated, simultaneously happening across the country in strategic cities across the country. Correct? Right? And in the end, for the pressure to be mounted and the president accept the resignation of the chief of staff, of the defense minister, I think a Pandora box has been opened, and I think the Boycott administration may have just started a trend that I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain.
But so you think that this whole thing about the protests was something that was orchestrated by some invisible hands, or was organized by people who just didn't want to see Prince Johnson become the defense minister? Or what? Because a lot of leads to this whole issue. People are concerned that, because some people you talk to them, they say he's a very fine gentleman, I know Prince Johnson. I've dealt with him. I've talked to him. In fact, I was in Liberia, he and I, we sat down, we talked, we ate and all at Royal. And someone he's a very fine military professional. So I don't have much an issue with him, but on both sides, some people say negative things, some people say positive things. But you think this thing was orchestrated, or something that was just?
So I'm not in the speculation game. I'm not going to. I know there's a lot of wild conspiracies going on, right? I am focused more on the outcome of what happened today. That's what I'm focused on. I'm not focused on the conspiracy theory. There's a lot of people who may not have want Prince Johnson to be a minister of defense. But guess what? I want to trust the judgment of President Joe Boycott. He made his decision. I don't think he was going to cave into any pressure, because he can appoint the ministers he wants to appoint. My issue here today has to do with the fact that not necessarily the president listening to people. No, that's not the issue. The president should listen to his people. If people have concern, he should listen to them. He did. He called them. He spoke with them yesterday. He had a meeting with them yesterday. We don't know what the outcome of that meeting was.
Ben, Ben, I don't know. The guys in studio, the guys are saying the link is not working. The links are sending to these guys.
Which one now?
The link. I sent a link to the guest panel, the other guys, but it's
just send it again. Maybe sometimes sometimes people can.
Can the guys just?
Sometimes people can make.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. So what I was trying to say, Tomalin, I'm focused more on the outcome of what happened today. So what happens tomorrow? What happens tomorrow? If a group of people decide they're going to protest that they don't want the Minister of Foreign Affairs, right? Let's just put that out there. What happens tomorrow if they decide, hey, we're gonna block every street in the country? We're gonna do strategic positioning. You know what? The Minister of Foreign Affairs or the Minister of Finance or whoever, call any name, right? That we don't the issues we have with them because they like the president stated in his very own statement, the issues that the army wives are talking about are issues that are being confronted across the country, across the government. These are this is not just unique to the armed forces of Liberia. So what happened if somebody comes out tomorrow and do the same thing? What happens if somebody come out tomorrow and say, guess what? The president should resign. Is the president going to resign? I'm just, listen, I'm saying this because at the end of the day, I think a Pandora box has been opened. And when you look at the way things are done, I think we're heading on a slippery slope.
So you think the President Boyga should have? You think he acted fast? You think he should have perhaps he should have maybe addressed the nation and say, look, I mean, we heard the concern of the military wives, but we are looking forward to it. And then instead of just immediately accepting the resignation of the defense minister, he should have maybe rejected his resignation. Maybe a couple of days and so, and then maybe later. I mean, I don't know, but people are saying that the president, by him caving to, I don't know, but they say the president shouldn't be faulted. The minister of defense resigned. Was he under pressure or not?
Yeah, the minister of defense resigned. That is the official communication from the executive mansion, right? Yeah. But like I said, there's something that prompted him to resign. He did not intend to resign today. He didn't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to resign. He resigned because of the pressure that came on. And I'm sure there were people from in the president's cycle. If it was not even the president, there were people from within the president's cycle who reached out to him or maybe pressured him to say, hey, you got to take the fall here. My issue has to do with the fact of the precedent that has been set. You know clearly. At the end of the day, this is not about listening to the people. Again, it's a thin line. I want to be very clear on this. This is not about not listening to the voices of the people. No, that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is the precedent that has been set for people to think that agitation, street protests, civil disobedience, all right, will always lead to a president, right, making people resign or accepting resignations. What I thought the president should have done, again, like I said, it's not like he did not meet with them. He met with them yesterday. He should have asked them for an opportunity to dig deeper into the situation and to try to solve the situation. But you heard what the president said in his statement, Tomalin. The president was very clear. He said the wives of the army people came to him and said their husbands told them that until Prince Johnson is let go, there will not be Armed Forces Day program. That was a threat.
Wow. And the president,
let's play the president's speech.
Yeah, please play it because I haven't listened to it.
Let's play the president's speech. I don't know Lofa on because we could. Let me see if I can play it on my.
Yeah, please play it because I haven't listened to it.
Let's play the president's speech. The president's speech, and that's the other thing I was very surprised about the way the president delivered this speech. Right?
Was it a live speech or?
No, it was not. It was pre-recorded. Right? It was pre-recorded speech. They released it to the public. My point is, Tomalin, whether we agree or we disagree, the president acknowledged that he was threatened. The president acknowledged. He acknowledged that he was put backward. He was given an ultimatum. And so what happened today? Armed Forces Day program did not happen today. It did not. In fact, the first statement that came from the executive mansion was that they were going, very good, it's right here. There you go.
My fellow citizens, on Sunday, February 11, I received an audience from wives of some members of the armed forces of Liberia who had come to express their concerns on several issues. These issues included poor living conditions, high tuition fees for their children, lack of adequate medical care, and low salaries, among others. The women stated their most important demand was the removal of retired General Prince C. Johnson as Minister of Defense. They said their husband had told them that unless General Johnson was removed, there would be no Armed Forces Day celebration. We made it clear to the women that the government will look into their grievances regarding all the issues, but that retired General Johnson had been confirmed by the Senate and appointed by me as Minister of Defense. We were hence not prepared to discuss this issue. Meanwhile, we received throughout the day and night information that some of the armed forces' wives and their husbands had initiated protest actions across the country by blocking major roadways and highways. Others had engaged in agitations in barracks around the country. In an effort to prevent violence and preserve lives and properties, we ordered the Armed Forces Day celebration for today be reduced to a low-key program. We have since held consultations with our strategic partner, the United States, and other regional stakeholders on the situation. As a true soldier and a patriot, retired General Johnson, of his own volition, informed us that he would step aside if he were obstacled in order to save the AFL and preserve peace and tranquility in the country. General Johnson accordingly tendered his resignation to me earlier today. I have accepted the resignation and thanked the General for his sacrificial services, loyalty, and commitment to our country. Meanwhile, I have appointed Brigadier General Geraldine George as Acting Minister of National Defense. Fellow citizens, the issue raised by the armed forces wives affect all sectors of our population throughout the country. We inherited these problems as we have been in office for barely 21 days only. The problems take on graver connotations when it comes to the military. The men and women in arms put their lives on line to defend and protect us. We must be extra sensitive to their plight. The Army is our collective national pride. We must preserve its dignity. I have therefore appointed a special independent investigator to probe into these grievances and report to me within 2 weeks. We have also activated a board of inquiry to look into the case of several soldiers who were discharged from the AFL for various serious crimes but were said to be undeservedly pardoned and reinstated. We must never tolerate indiscipline and breakdown of order in the armed forces of Liberia. The reconstituted AFL had won the praises and admirations of the entire country for its professionalism and had become a source of national pride for us all. We cannot afford to indulge in anything that would dampen the morale of our soldiers and generate doubt and suspicion. On the other hand, our government will ensure that our military is well looked after. We should always think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. God bless the works of our hands and save the state.
I think we can take it down. Yeah.
Well, we just heard the president's speech, but first of all, we got to commend the president at least for coming up, for addressing the nation, not keeping the nation in dark and that he came right away and spoke to the nation. He addressed the issue, but like he said, and we're taking by his word that the Minister of Defense on his own volition. I mean, nobody forcing nobody pressure him. He decided to tender his resignation for the good of the army and for the country. But the issue, I think, the good thing again, he appointed a special investigator to look into this matter and report to him in 2 weeks. So I feel personally sad for General Johnson because he's a very young man. He has not even gone. I don't think even in his 50s. His career he has retired. I mean, two fine gentlemen. I mean, General Zanga, being the President Williams, he retired too, very early too. And today, these people were well trained by the Liberian, by the US, the Liberian government, taxpayer money, and sent to foreign countries, including the US. And today they are retired. So where else they can be? Either ambassadors now or some, maybe some advisor to the military. But that's the situation we find ourselves in. And General Geraldine George, she's now the acting defense minister. But guys, you guys can weigh in. I mean, at least we can take 3 minutes each to discuss, give your input on this whole issue about this. Ben said, we'll start with you, Ben. You can.
Yeah, so let me just wrap up what I was saying before the video plays. So I think you heard the video very clearly, right? A couple of things, like I said, I'm not worried about, I know people are talking about, and all of that. But look, again, like I said, I didn't see presidential leadership today. Yes, he addressed the nation. I thought the president was boxed into a corner. And when you are president of a country, especially an African country, a country like Liberia, right? This is not about muscling people. No, that's not what I'm talking about here. Again, like I said, I believe the president met with these people. He met with these women. He met with these wives over the weekend. I think this was on Sunday that he met with them. All right. He explained to them that he was handling this situation. He clearly stated in his statement, Tomalin, he clearly stated that they went there and they told him that our husbands have made it very clear to us that until Prince Johnson is removed as defense minister, there will be no Armed Forces Day. That was a threat. Call it whatever you want to call it. That was a threat to the commander-in-chief. That was gross insubordination to the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief communicated to them that Prince Johnson had been confirmed. And so that means he had explicit confidence in Prince Johnson. Again, like I said, Prince Johnson had not even started to work as Minister of Defense. I think he just got confirmed this last week, right? So I believe today was going to be his first day as Minister of Defense in his full capacity. The fact that the president capitulated, he came, he accepted, and like he's saying, and there's notion that at his own volition, Mr. President, if the president did not want Prince Johnson to resign, he could exercise the option of not accepting the resignation. Presidents can do that. People go and resign. The president say, listen, I am not going to accept your resignation, right? He accepted the resignation because, again, I think there was this fear that, this is about the army. And if the people agitate things, so and so and so. So my thing is, there is a Pandora box that has been opened here. My only fear is that what happens to the next group that comes to protest? What happens to the next group that will come and raise a contention about another minister? Or guess what? Or even raise a contention about the very president? Are we going to see mass resignations? Look, when you become president, when you're a leader, you're supposed to make tough decisions. The decisions that reach to the desk of the president, right? Barack Obama said it. The only decision that gets to the president's desk is the decision that nobody else in the country can make. That is the reason why you're president. So I didn't see presidential leadership today. I think Joe Boakai, I think he caved in, and I think he's going to live to regret what happened today. That's just my opinion.
Let's hear from Peabody. We're going to go to Keff, go to Duke, and then Peewee. But Peabody, I'm sure you've been following development today, but I mean, so you believe what people are saying, that this whole thing about this protest orchestrated by invisible hands? Some people are saying that it was people who just don't want to see Prince Johnson become defense minister. And then just to add that, like Ben said, do you agree that the president handled this very poorly?
Look, man, I think two ways here. Firstly, the president just got into power less than 12 days, and we had a resignation from his defense minister, and he accepted it. But what I think the president should have not buy into those AFL women wives. He should have not buy into that. I think that was a gross insubordination to the president and the nation. That Liberia is a country of law. Even under President George, we say Liberia is a country of law. We said this a lot of time. I mean, you can't have a group of women get on the street because of they are not happy with the current appointment and stage protest, and you buy into them and appoint and accept. I don't think the president should have accepted the resignation from the defense minister. These are people who are well trained, who really protected our country the last 16 years and was able to contain the military. Very professional, our troops in different countries and all of that. But I don't think the president cannot start on this note. If he start on the note, then everybody that get on the street, because we ain't even get to the LU University of Liberia protest yet. We ain't even reached that level yet. By the time they get there again, you're going to remove the president, you're going to remove everybody. I think we should have made them aware that you have the right to demonstrate, but you also have the right to peacefully demonstrate. Get up there, but not to block the street, not to obstruct the movement of free citizens and all of that. They should have been removed from that street today, or should have even been arrested. Someone that should have been prosecuted for causing that caused any disturbance and things. But accepting the resignation of Prince Johnson, I think Prince Johnson did well. Was honorary today. He said, you know what, as a patriotic citizen, I will give it up for them. But I think the president too, the security should have taken the appropriate step in containing these people, because this is just one out of many protests that are going to come. People are going to block the street. People are going to cause destruction, and this is the kind of decision you would take. I think you should have demonstrated firm leadership here today. You'll get out of the street and you'll deal with your situation in a peaceful way. I will not accept this. This man has been a predator. This man has been confirmed. There's no reason that they should have been out there on the street today. I don't think it was right, but he did what was right. The president accepted. You resign, I accept a resignation, so we shouldn't blame him on that. But I think he was very soft in dealing with the wife today. The behavior today over the last weekend was just complete nonsense. They should have channeled the grievance in the proper way. Thank you.
Kev, you want to weigh in?
Oh well, let me say hi to you guys. But I think what we saw on the street by the army wives is purely constitutional. That's the right. That's some of the right you enjoy. Um, so um, we learned that from the um, this current government. They told us that. They teach us that. They did that. So we learned it from them, and we went and looked in the Constitution. It's there. So the Burka government, when they were in opposition, they were right to protest. So we learned it from them, and that's something that we learned. But I can say this: I don't think GMB is doing his due diligence in hiring or nominating or appointing people because the army wives did not, I repeat, did not start blacking roads from the beginning. That's not true. They went through the proper channel. They went to the lawmakers. They sent in the petition. They read the petition. They channeled the grievances. They spoke to Jeremiah Kuhn. Jeremiah Kuhn gave them 24 hours. He received to them and he left the country. They did everything. What you saw on the streets was the last result of them. So will folks condemn them? Sometimes we look at this story and see where they started. I think it's a beautiful thing to see that somebody can channel the grievance and in a certain way. So because they told us that. So for me, I think JMB is not politically strong enough to govern Liberia with all the challenges. There's one protest, that was it. So I don't think he's strong enough to challenge what coming, and especially and how they overpromise the people. And civil servant going to come out for the salary. The last time we heard the calls, they're going to come out for the salary. Students going to come up for their WIAC fee because up to now, nothing, no pay up to now, and a lot of stuff. University student, the tuition, they're going to come out. So all the stuff that they say they were going to do and stopping some of these things that they were enjoying, a lot of people are going to come. But I think he's not politically strong enough to govern Liberia. He's not.
Duke, Duke, you want to weigh?
Thank you, Tomlin. I like to, side with Ben. This is a serious issue, and it's not something to overlook. I think I'm not sure if you got. There's always this kind of trauma that comes with hearing the national anthem play, right? And
I know, right? It's
yeah,
never,
yeah. It's something because it brings back so many.
Yeah, that's true, Duke. That's true.
That's why I believe the president should have actually done a video, a recording and actually directly, because those kind of things are scary, especially you have the military. For me, I do believe it was a mutiny, and the government would tread on that fine lines to not call it what it is, but this is exactly. But here's the thing, gentlemen. I've had some information about this, and I've been really, getting some clarity. 2 days ago, Johnson came with the intent of planning for the celebration of the armed forces of Liberia. The intent was to discuss protocols and all of the things there. Then a curveball was thrown, wherein he came with a letter stating that he wanted to resign because of some of the issues. The president immediately rejected, including people within the office of the president refused and said that this was not something that warranted any kind of resignation. But it was interesting to note that he already had a letter typed 2 days ago, wanting to resign. They left that meeting, and also that meeting followed by a lot of conversations. Like Ben said, they actually met with 20 women from the armed forces wives. There was also a high level meeting that was actually done with top brass from the military. The details of that meeting were not released because it was high level. But what I do know, there were some issues, not from the boycott administration or previous issues that were unresolved. In the past, they said those things have been they've been able to manage it because monies were used in the process to just kind of temper down expectations and move along. And so, for some reason, this was the perfect opportunity, for those who have pushed this thing to be able to push a little further. What was interesting, though, after there was a refusal to accept the initial letter 2 days ago, there was another meeting held by representatives from the United States, along with the U.S., along with the general. It was after that meeting today, I believe yesterday, today, that when it was finally, made public that, he has actually turned in his resignation. I'm not sure what the conversation was on that end, but today was just, that particular final step. But I'm told initially it was actually rejected and is confirmed by three different sources close within the office of the president that provided this information, and they didn't want it to happen because the fear was you don't want to set a bad precedent, you don't want to make this a habit, and those were issues that they believe that they didn't have ownership of because this was something that existed before. But however, he felt that these things were sensitive topics, and he didn't want to be the kind of individual that was cut in the middle, and he put in his resignation there. The AFL's got a major problem. Politics are not. And this is something the boycott administration will have to find a way to deal with. How to go about dealing with is something. My concern here is going forward, you have a lot of these issues from other, parts of society. The people that will be disenchanted, the people that will have concerns. You haven't even seen protests from SOUP that will eventually come. You haven't seen protests from other groups. Those things will happen. And if you have a situation now wherein there's a mutiny being led by the army, but under this disguise of using the army wives, that's something I will, they will have to pay attention to. But I think, this was politically motivated, externally and internally, with a lot of outside interferences in this process. I do say the government would not declare it, but I think it was a mutiny. But there are a lot of different things. And yes, he did turn in his resignation 2 days ago. He initially came in with the letter. They rejected it. It was today when all of those things, with all of the concerns that women, and it's funny, Ben said it here, they were very intentional because the expectation was that these people just wanted something, and just get away. But they were very intentional that they didn't want him. They wanted him removed from the position. And it just seemed like it aligned with a lot of other political concerns that they have. But finally, there's something very important here that the concern here is that from the outside, it was believed that there's been this major transformation in the AFL, and it was more professional. There was a lot of influence, a control in terms of the United States and other partners that had retooled. The surprising thing here is that the structures of the AFL still remains, and there are a lot of complexities in terms of people involved on the back and on the higher level that now makes some of those who are actually in the position to discuss this issue, concerned about, where was this progress that they talk about in the AFL? And it's almost like you have a situation wherein the military, the AFL, as it stands, have their own agenda, and it's either you take it or you leave it, which is going to be a problem going forward. So it's interesting to see how they address it, but this is really a serious issue. This is something that, if not careful and managed properly, could probably escalate into something. I hope not, but I'm really concerned about this, and hopefully the president can show some leadership in terms of tackling these things from the onset.
Sylvester?
Thank you. I think this is a process that I've been trying to look into the last time we're talking about. But before I move into the issue about the presidential competition process and the issue of politicizing the military, is there was a conversation I had with one of the senior military officers some time ago in Accra, Ghana. And this process, when President Weah appointed General Zianga Dent as Minister of Defense, I was very concerned. One of those that said, I think this was now a good move towards the military. The military is still very young. In terms of our enlistment, very, very, very low. And to begin the process of taking the best out of the military and putting them in political positions where there will be sometimes dismissed, who has to resign, or in other words, they would serve at the will and pleasure of the president. There was a problem. We discussed that. Moving on, when the new president came, when they went through the same pattern, I was very deeply concerned also. Now we've got some problem. We have two of our best in the military that the American graded to be part of the best, well-regimented. They are currently out of the military now. Zianga is out, Prince Johnson is out. Now, one of the major problems here is, one of my concerns is that even most of those around the president currently in terms of the security area, the senior advisor, security advisor to the president, he's not a trained security man. He got no basic regimentation in the area. And even to their meeting with most of the senior officers, you have the advisor to the president in the meeting, Prince Moy in the meeting, and some others, non-military or security personnel. We need to be very, very careful. And I would agree 100% with what Duke just said. This is tantamount to mutiny, right? The fact that the president stated that the wives of the enlisted men said to him that our husband, that is tantamount to the AFL people themselves saying to Mr. President that we want this to happen. Now, for the president to capitulate in the way and manner he did, it is not a usual thing for president to normally do those things. You have to weigh the process very carefully. And that's one of the things President said. He said before, there are a lot of things will come out. She will say, oh, the North will come, we'll safeguard the North and we'll deal with the situation. You will have to be very presidential indeed. And that's why the Constitution of our country, Article 50 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia is very clear. The executive power of the Republic is vested in the president. There's a lot of power the presidency commandeer. So you have to be very, very much prepared to withstand and operate within the confine of the power of the Constitution. To move today in a way and manner that we move through the system. Now, Mr. Johnson is out, probably. And I will anticipate very clearly. And a lot of people are trying to caricature some of the situation now, saying the police wives are coming also. The immigration wives, right? Then we move back to where we started before. And I know this for a fact. I serve as a militant, I serve as a student leader of the Vanguard Student Delegation Party. The party is going to come up front. We're going to have other institutions coming up also. So the presidency needs to be prepared to defend and protect. And that's why you're defending and protecting the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. There will be a lot of petty threats that you have to deal with, right? I don't think so. Moving on, but it is the prerogative again. The president stated clearly that the Minister of National Defense resigned on his own volition. He was not coerced to have resigned. He resigned and he's accepted the resignation and held the former Chief of Staff and former Minister of Defense. But I want to believe that we need to begin the process of putting a clear line now in the picture. Now, the president also discussed today that he's looking forward to increasing the number of the military. The intent is to train additional men and women to join the process. But by doing this, we need to also protect those professional guys that we got in the military that will give the military extra morale and huge regimentation. But to remove them one at a time, Zianga is gone. Prince is no more there. These are part of the best we have. Now, people will be talking about General Fuller, that is currently the Chief of Staff, Public General Connor, and the rest of that. So, I mean, we need to be very protective of our military institution.
Okay, let me just get some housekeeping, guys. We got, I think, 3 other topics to talk about, to discuss 3 other things to talk about. So I beg everybody, when you're talking, look at your time. At least let's at least spend at least minimum of 2 minutes will be fine, please. So we can cover all of what we need to cover today, please. So let's hear from Larry, then go to Lofa, and then Chris and Robert.
Yeah, Tomalin, thanks so much for giving 20 minutes to talk, man. Let me see if I can get all my points out there right away. So, so here's the thing. Imagine if the president had come out and called the police to come and forcefully remove these women, bring out the water cannon, bring out the big guns. I think the conversation today was going to be completely different. The criticism was going to be even harsh. He might even put himself at risk of being charged with crimes against humanity. So we have to kind of balance this out, right? We've seen a situation where in Lebanon, there was an earthquake, a lot of buildings collapsed, the people protested, the entire government resigned. Everyone here is kind of aware of the situation with the Arab Spring, how people protested and governments came down. And when you look at those governments that resisted their people, like in Syria, you see the fighting that took place in Syria and you see thousands of people dying. I think the president was reasonable in terms of balancing the situation in kind of making his decision, right? You have to weigh it. Not all cases are going to be the same, but in situations where presidents come out and forcefully try to remove people, he becomes an authoritarian, and that is even worse. So you have in the Constitution, the preamble, in the Liberian Constitution, it says that we, the people, the power is vested in the people. So I'm not saying that in all situations people protest, the president should simply give in to their requests and their whims. No, I think what has to be done is you have to look at each situation individually and see if the request is reasonable. And I think in this situation, the request was reasonable. And I think the president did the right thing. And I think going forward, those are the kind of decisions that have to be made. So we all cannot agree, but we can all agree to disagree. And I would say this one thing in my last 10, 15 seconds. Here's the thing. I think the problem is if you have to decide on who gets hired or who gets fired based on protest, that means you have a flaw in your vetting process. So if you are not vetting people properly and people are having these issues and people are protesting, that means something has to be done with your vetting process. So this situation wouldn't have occurred if people understood these issues existed. It's like hiring someone, finding out that they have criminal record just to end up firing them. You're not doing your due diligence in your hiring processes. But I think the president did the right thing. This was going to be a toxic situation. And he shows that he's reasonable. Maybe the next person that come out, he will not be this cordial. And people will say, oh, you know something? But in the last time, he was kind of flexible. So maybe he has the right to do this. I simply think it was the right decision to make.
Okay. Yes, let's hear from Lofa.
Great to be back on here again, guys. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be joining us from. I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, with the president's reaction, his decision. Again, I can say this here openly. The likes of myself and other people are vindicated when we say Honorable Boycott lacks true leadership ability. He proved it here again today. We should start preparing ourselves for, the downward trend of events when we start to hear from Soup, when we start to hear from other members in society who will come out and protest. So those who are going to government offices or being appointed should understand that you stand a chance of being dismissed or having to be released from your position because of pressure. Okay. Honorable Boycott showed us that is who he is. Let us retrospect a little bit here. The CPP, the entire saga with the CPP, similar behavior was exhibited, hands-off approach. Okay. Now he shifted blame. These things, we cannot sugarcoat them. At this point, Honorable Boycott, President Boycott showed no true leadership. And again, I would say I am not surprised that he did exactly what he did. This could have been prevented. It could have been prevented in so many ways. But again, the kind of leader that he is always reactive. He always wants to react as compared to being proactive. And this is what he's shown us. I think what we need to start to prepare ourselves for is, after this, then what?
Okay.
Most importantly, we are not also taking into consideration what he did with the entire incident after everything took place. He then repeated George Weah. Instead of addressing the nation, he sent us a recording to listen to, something that they complained about all around. He sent us a recording. We showed that he didn't care. I mean, just give it to them. It's none of my concern. So we are right back to where we started 6 years ago with the same group of people, the same mentality. I'll stop here for now.
Okay, let's hear from Grace and then Robert.
Hi guys. Why you guys are so far? You're trying to smile. This is Black History Month in February. It's nice to be here.
Still of the nation is on course, right?
I understand, but we can't make it so sad like this though. But I'm happy to be here, and I took a break because I was not feeling well. I feel very good now. And I just wanted to say that today I would disagree with Lofa because Julius and me always on the same page. But I would like to say that bravo to President Bwaka. And because the power is inherent in the people. And today we saw democracy in Liberia. I was kind of taken aback a little bit from Dr. Peabody when he said that he shouldn't have listened. And when you refer to women, because women are powerful. And I like the way that Honorable Bwaka put in a woman to be the minister right now, acting until he can get his act together. But if there was the army people are not happy, was there going to be any good armed forces celebration today? There is no celebration with other army for armed forces there. So what had happened was the right thing to happen. And I think when they came out, it was valid for them to do that, and it was good for Prince Johnson to resign because I really like Prince C. Johnson, to tell you the truth. He's somebody I really respect. But and then what he did today made me to respect him more. So regardless of whether they told him to resign and he listened to them, but he did it right thing, he did it for Liberia. And I know right now things are happening. They might probably feel sad that he did that. And he might probably feel, short-handed, but history will remember him. I want to say that history will remember him. And I also want to say that the mere fact that even women came out to speak for their husband, which what was happening in the war in Liberia. Women sacrificed their lives when the men were in Haiti under the beds. Women were out there fighting for them, trying to find food for them. So today that they did the same. Like, okay, our husbands don't have the benefits, and we don't think that this man, I know that he was not the only person responsible to give these benefits, though he was the head. That's why he suffered the pain. But at least the women again came out, and the president of the Republic of Liberia, Bwaka, listening to the women, and I'm happy for that. June 7 protests, Lofa Julius and myself were part of that June 7 protests in DC. June 7 protests when Henry Costa came up, plenty of people on this platform, I think, supported that protest when Henry Costa said that President Weah should step down from his position as president. People supported it from this platform, and a lot of Liberians supported it. The protest was shortchanged because things went in the background, or else Weah was going to step down. Okay. And it's the right thing to do in 2024, let's say. This is a different world now, not because our country is Africa. We in Africa, Liberia is an African nation, so these things can happen. These things have to happen. That's why when the president nominate people and send it to the Senate need to do their due diligence to vet those people very well before they present the people to the Liberian people for the president to appoint them into power. And this is the blunder that happened now. Now, Prince Johnson had to pay for it. I could just go on and on, but I would just say that I really respect the man for doing this. I respect President Bwaka for taking the stand and say, you know what? The people have spoken. There is nothing I can do about it. We are in a third world country, but we are in civilization. When the people say they want something, this is democracy, it has to be done. And I hope he carry on exact way. It's not that everybody will come and demonstrate and say, oh, we want this, and he will listen to them. But this, he had to listen, and he did it right there. Thank you.
Okay. Robert?
Yeah, it's great to be on. I'm not feeling so well, but I had to come on just to give my 2 cents on this. First of all, I think that Major General resignation was a big mistake. I don't think that he should have resigned, and I don't think that that resignation should have been accepted by President Bouakai. But there's another part of this that raises a lot more questions about uh, Joseph Bouakai's leadership. You can't tell me that the incoming government or the president had no idea internally that some of these issues existed. You can't tell me that the president had no idea that there were major concerns with regards to. I'm not sure at this point if we're talking about widows or wives of AFL personnel. But this is not new. This is just did not come up a few days ago, and so the president should have known this. I mean, true leadership, from my perspective, would have been exhibited had they exhausted internal effort to perhaps resolve this issue before making a nomination. But what also is concerning to me, and I think I stated this the last time, at the rate that we are retiring our professional military personnel for political appointment worries me. It bothers me. I mean, here are we right now. You have a guy like Prince Johnson, okay, a man with immense experience. We've invested so much in him, and he's caught in between a political dilemma. Now he has to resign. What does Liberia benefit from this? The fact that he is no longer serving the military, a man that still have, this guy is not even 50 years old yet. He has so much more to offer out the AFL. And I don't understand how is it that there are not people out there from the political perspective who could have become defense minister. I mean, this man should have not been forced to retire. He should have been left in his position, and the government, the president vetting committee should have done a better job with regards to dealing with this issue internally. And they did not do that. And so the question that I have today is, who is the elder in the room? Where is the wisdom? Because there are decisions that have been made that lacks depth, that lack wisdom and due diligence. Everything in Lofa, and I agree with Lofa, everything cannot be reactive. Leadership is not just about the president's decision to cut the Armed Forces Day ceremony short because of these concerns, or to say, you know what, I want to listen to these guys, and so this resignation must happen. Leadership is being able to resolve issues before it even blows out of proportion. And I would have given Joseph Bouakai, President Bouakai, credit had this issue been dealt with before it even got public, before the nominations were made, before this man went to the Senate for confirmation. That's what true leadership is.
Okay.
And you want me to give Bouakai credit because he now, he wants to accept this nomination? Only last point I want to make is this. Liberia have lost a young military personnel. We've lost resources that we invested in getting the training, in getting him the training that he should have gotten. He's been caught in between a political appointment. He has resigned because he doesn't want to deal with the noise. And how does this benefit our country? In the full margin of how does this benefit us? So we got to be very careful. Political appointments must separate when it comes to our national security. Our national security must always triumph over political appointment. This was a bad move from the president's perspective. This should have been dealt with internally. And I cannot give Joseph Bouakai credit for only now deciding to listen to these women when this could have been resolved before it even went public.
Okay, guys, we like I said, we got a lot to cover. I know people are they were issued about the VP going to traveling to Nigeria to represent the president, and then also an appointment the president made. Still, controversy is behind it, so we want to squeeze everything in with the short time we have today. So let me just work on the time. I beg you guys, please. That we all can make it in 2 minutes will be fine. Can I go to hear from you? Okay.
All right, thank you. I'm happy to be back again. I actually just arrived home from work, and because of the importance of this topic, I decided to just log in immediately. I listened to Grace. Grace, nice to meet you. That's my first time seeing you on the platform. Here's what I will say. We have so many different sources we listen to. The Minister of Defense is a political appointment. It's not a head of the army. The head of the army is the chief of staff. I had a time to go through the different videos of the different demonstrations, the shuffling, and I think there was one in Douala. In fact, the Douala, my little sister was there, and she actually sent me the video from there. And I listened to some of the women who were demonstrating. I didn't find merit in what they were saying. What was the issue? Because if the issue was, when I listened to the woman from Shuffling, she said we in one bedroom house, no electricity. It got nothing to do with the chief of staff. It's AEC. The chief of staff didn't build the barracks to build small rooms. In fact, as a matter of fact, my adopted son is a military. He lives in Shuffling. The first two houses, when you enter Shuffling on the left, are Ben Amadou house. And here we're living in one single room. Okay? So the issue they raised with the chief of staff were not issues that you blame the chief of staff for. But here is what I've gathered. What I've gathered is that, and I hope this is not true, but I would say I did some phone calls when I learned of the resignation of the Minister of Defense. And I was a little concerned. I made some phone calls. Actually, I spoke to 3 persons in Monrovia. My information is that the Unity Party blames Princey Johnson and Zianga for the loss of the Brandon Samuka seat. They blame the both persons. In fact, during the transitional time, it was widely rumored that Zanga was the only minister that was going to remain on in the WIA administration. But that changed because they blamed Zanga for what happened to Brandon Samuka, for the debt he's in. So they removed him. They retired. I mean, we are retiring earlier, but they said, we'll make you ambassador at large. It's indeterminate. They can sign 5 years from now or maybe 6 years from now. And they retire Princey Johnson. That whole demonstration was orchestrated. It's political. It has a motivation. Today, the mayor resigned. The demonstration is over. So are they going to have 2-bedroom house now in Shuffling? Are they going to have electricity restored now? No. The issue was political. They wanted to just get... So they sat, my information, they argue that Unity Party technician around Boaga said, do we just retire the man? It will be so obvious. So we are appointing and then go after him when he's a political appointee. And that's exactly what they did. And they did it successfully. Now he's out. And that's basically what happened. And I spoke with a very credible sources today.
Wow.
This is a work to a payback from Brandon Samuka loss.
Wow. But anyway, as on the same topic, as we move forward, the president said that, I know he said something like what Kelabo just said, but he also said in his speech that they inherited this problem from the past government, whether it is a shifting or bling or what, but he said he inherited this problem from the past government, and then he's also going to he appointed a committee. I think he appointed someone today. He didn't announce the person's name, who will be put in 2 weeks. So before we leave this topic, anybody get anything to just
I was going to say something.
Okay. Let me do that, and then Grace can come in quickly. I just want to make a clarity here. And then, like I said, I think I agree. Let me state for the record, I disagree with Larry and with Grace. I think totally disagree with you guys. I think a Pandora box was opened today. I think presidential leadership was not shown today. I think the president he's going to regret today. I'm telling you, the president, Joe Burka, the Liberia that I know, at least this new dispensation that we know, President Joe Burka will regret what happened today. Okay. Again, like I said, like Robert said, like Kelabo said, I think Lofa, the only person I think I'm a little far away from Peabody that they should have sent people on, that they should have taken them off the street. These women have a right to protest, but let's also be cognizant of the fact that where your right begins is where your right ends is where somebody else's right begin. What they did today totally crippled the economy. Nothing happened today. Well, today was a holiday anyway, by the way, right? But nobody was able to go anywhere today. Nobody was able to go anywhere today. There's nothing wrong with you protesting. There's nothing wrong with you expressing your grievances. But when you heard the president's speech, they threatened the president. At least their husbands did. In the president's statement, he said they went to him and told him that if Prince Johnson is not removed, there will be no Armed Forces Day. That's a threat to the president. That is a threat. That's not going to negotiate, right? The president also stated, and I'm following what he said. The president also stated clearly that he told them that the man has been confirmed and that he was not going to fall to that particular demand. So they acted they went and they acted again on the notion that this man, the president, was not ready to fire this man. So they went ahead and obstructed everything that was supposed to happen today. Again, the president met with them on Sunday. What I expected President Joe Burka to do today, even if Prince Johnson wanted to resign, was to continue to reject that resignation. Because like I said, a Pandora box was open. He could have addressed the nation today and talk about lawlessness and talk about the fact that, yes, they have a right to protest. They are wives of our gallant men and women, right? But he's only been president for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. He's looking into this and he's going to solve this problem. Meanwhile, work in the back and do whatever he needs. But by accepting this resignation today, tomorrow somebody may protest that they don't want another minister. So when he doesn't accept that other resignation, what are we going to say? Are we going to say, then he's to do? So I think today was not. I think President Joe Burka will come back to live to regret what happened today.
Yeah, but just before somebody come in, but Ben, I mean, again, anybody can chime in. But when I remember this morning, around about 5 o'clock this morning, I got I heard about it. 5 o'clock this morning, I was in the gym when I got the information that I think I put in our chat room. When they said that the defense minister was going to resign and he'll be sent to Sweden as ambassador. When I got that information from a credible source. But it was because they said that there was rising tension in the city. Even the U.S. government, U.S. embassy were concerned, and they felt that if the action was not taken, it could have. But these reporters they were engaging were sporadic, coming from.
But Tomalin, that is the reason why he should not have caved in the way he did.
But then my question: if he actually has not taken. And Prince Johnson and Antonio resolution, the women were still in the street, and maybe other people would have joined. Who knows what would have happened?
So, Tomalin. Tomalin.
That's the point I was trying to make. What is the alternative in the argument?
I made some points here during my time to speak, and I'll say this again. The president initially rejected, right?
Unconfirmed, right?
I'm sorry.
Unconfirmed.
No. So I can confirm this. He initially rejected his request to leave the position. That particular conversation happened when they had a meeting about the protocols for the Armed Forces celebration. What I think happened with the rising tension, and rightfully Ben said, all of those things, and the meeting with the international partners, the United States, it became evident at that point in time that it had to be accepted. And that's where we are. And regardless of what the president would have done, he was step aside. He didn't want to be in that position. He didn't want to be caught up in a situation wherein there's political pressure, external political pressure. And let me say this here. And I think, something was said here about that. Let's be honest here. There were outside forces, external forces that fed into this entire protest, supported it, right? Fueled it to an extent, right? That brought it the necessary attention that, again, now this is not justification. This doesn't mean that the president should exercise some level of leadership. But look, the AFL situation, this is a continued thing. We saw it with Nora Funabundo and the CDC. Some of the concerns they had, though, were about meetings that they had prior to this government taking over. That was one of the sticky issues, and the demand to make sure that he steps aside. So my only concern is going forward. I'm really interested in seeing, how the president continues to engage some of these issues, because there'll be a lot of them that will be coming forward. And I really hope this is an urgent call to people in the current government. I think there's an opportunity to reconsider how you move forward, especially with places like the NSA, because you need those bodies to be functional. Because I'm telling you, as it stands, the AFL is very vulnerable. There was a mutiny today, and if this situation is not handled with care post-exit, there's going to be rising conflict and potential issues, and those are the concerns that we have.
Let me comment to me.
The word mutiny is a strong word. It's a strong word.
Let me comment to me. Look, to me, getting on the street and vandalizing things and blocking traffic is not a peaceful protest. We should understand that. They went to the airport, blocking the traffic, got on the street, causing, destroying things. That's not a peaceful protest. Those folks, we have police who are trained to bring law and order, protect the people. They should have moved them and taken them somewhere to protest there peacefully, and then they would have listened to them. But I think this president is bad for the country. It sent a wrong message that anybody will not jump on the street and begin to destroy property. And the next thing, the president will give into their demand. I think this is a wrong precedent being set. And I think President Bouaka shouldn't have really damaged the military like that, because you have the best, well-trained, who have gone in the Hall of Fame, Zangai and Johnson, and they will sit there and let these people leave the military. Is it because he want to bring somebody in from Lofa to be the chief of staff and deputy chief of staff, or what? This was wrong. The police should have been out there, the police director should have sent men to remove these people from the street, not with force, but find a way to get them off, and so that they can. But to just kid into stuff like that, wait until the student from the University of Liberia get there and start breaking their own classroom and busting up things right there at the university. Wait until you see that happen. I think it shows some level of weakness on the commander-in-chief part, and it's bad for the country.
So let me just ask a question for the next person to talk. You want to believe that Prince C. Johnson and Daniel Zangan were forced to especially Prince Johnson? Well, you think he was forced to retire? He has said, Mr. President, I feel comfortable. I don't think I read it. I mean, it's his prerogative to decide what he wanted to keep on that, but to say, look, I don't think I want to retire this time. You think they were forced, or they just did because of it? What I mean?
No, it's not his prerogative. It is clear in terms of the military. The president is the commander-in-chief of the military, the armed forces of the republic, and it's stated also in Article 54 of the Constitution. So it is not the prerogative from the rank of lieutenant upward to a general. So the president can promote you and also decommission you and retire you. You can do early retirement. The president can even take you to many judge and push you to be a general in the military. That's the prerogative of the president. Now, and within the Uniform Corps of Military Justice, again, you cannot. There are basic regimentation there. So it was quite unfortunate for them.
So what did I reporting? Did I reporting a mutiny?
Oh yeah, but it is something.
I said I'm mutiny because I know what I said. And I'm not saying that to be negative. All of the information I'm supplying, there's a reason why I'm stating.
That's what I did.
it is a mutiny, and that's what it should be considered.
But did anybody refuse to obey
Can we
lawful
give
orders?
Grace a chance to speak, and then we can all chime in, because she wanted to say something and Ben jumped in.
They can't handle me on their platform, Larry. Don't
Sorry,
mind it.
Grace.
They want me here, but they can't handle me here. That's the problem.
Oh, Grace, go ahead, man. Who can handle you, Grace? Go ahead, man.
They handle me on their platform. Oh, you're scared. I'm messing with your butt. Ben says something about regrets. If President Bwaka regret this day, then that's the change we want, Ben. That is the change. You know why?
Chris, we can't be resigning.
That's the change that the people voted for. President Bwaka has to listen to the people of Liberia. If you're saying that Prince C. Johnson has all this, they train him and everything, but I don't care what much training he has. If the people cannot work with him, they cannot work with him. He can go with all his training. Even my supervisor, my job, if my team cannot work with her, they're going to remove her from that place. So Prince Johnson, although everybody feel he did nothing, you're who on this platform, your benefits then to work. When somebody mess with your benefit, you will sit there and allow it to happen.
Yeah, but Grace,
you will allow it.
But Grace, I'm asking you a question. Who said that those people were speaking on behalf of the Liberian people today? They were a segment of the society. Listen, I want to reiterate what I said for 30 seconds. You can continue. One, Grace. No, you will take your time. I beg you.
Okay.
One, Grace. They had the right to protest. Two, the military deserve the best care, the best benefits. But newsflash, this is not the first time this thing has happened. This is not the first time this problem is there, right? My only issue has to do with the fact that the president said in his speech, Grace, he said the issues that were raised are things that are across the entire government. So tomorrow, if the port workers come and protest and say that the guy who he just appointed to the port, right? Because like I said, Prince Johnson didn't start work. He was just starting work today. If the guy to the port, if they can't say, oh, you're all benefits, Mr. President, let a man resign. He's going to tell the man to resign. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Yeah, but
let
you
me
have
say
to
something real quick.
this thing, 1 minute, Larry. This thing came from when he was in the last government. So these are things that build up with these people. And the thing is that if any other minister come and there's a valid reason why they should protest to remove that minister, the people will protest. There was nobody killed. There was no injury. Sometimes in protest, things get damaged. It's a normal thing that happen here in this country. But once the people protested and the president listening, I don't understand why people are having problem with this thing. There's a backlash on this man. The people don't want to work with him. They feel that he's not going to lead them right, although he's in a different position. It's time for him to whatsoever that's all the things the people are saying is just, they say this and they say that. There is no valid to any of the things they're saying here. You just heard this is political and this is this. Until we can hear from Prince C. Johnson what really took place for this to happen, and then one of the representatives from the AFL, then we don't have anything here to say. The veterans here in this country, they don't play with them. Why you want to play with our veterans? I don't think
it was not the men that was out there. It was not the people. It was just
their wives.
Their wives was using. They were being used by the husbands.
We can't even guarantee it was their wife. It was just some other women who joined the street. That's all.
So let me say something real quick. Let me say something real quick. Grace, you are absolutely wrong on this issue. Completely wrong on this issue, but I respect your opinion.
You have your own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
why are you saying you respect your opinion?
Yeah, my opinion is
right.
You guys have a different opinion. You want
great, but I also have to see where your rights ends was where mine begin. So I also have the right to say that you're absolutely wrong, even though I respect your opinion.
Agreed.
But this is not about the president listening. I think that the people are running with the president listening to his people because George Weah did not listen, or George Weah did not listen to the protest on June 7th. Was that what it is?
No, George Weah did.
January 11th.
About to step down.
Guess what?
Something happened in the back.
George Weah was not stepping down. Stop it, man.
That would never happen.
That's not true. That is not true.
Stop it.
But let me get my time back. George Weah was never going to step down. So don't even think about that. But the best point, if a part of the country, remember, Joseph Boaga got elected with not a majority. If citizens and other folks who did not support him were to go in the street and demanded that he resign and step down, would he
you.
step down?
Will he step down?
Should he step down? This is the point that we're making. Should if majority of the folks were in the street and asked that Joseph Boakai should step down because we're not happy with his leadership, we're not happy with decisions being made, Grace, should he step down?
Yes, sir. The president should step down.
Are you serious?
We can't run the country like that.
Well, let me finish.
All right, so let me
finish also Larry coming. Let me finish
real quick. So
you cannot
understand
run,
two things, right?
You cannot run a democracy this way, Grace. It's one thing to resolve issue. This is why I said from the beginning, I will give the president credit had this issue been resolved internally. They had a lot of time to vet Prince, and in fact, all of the concerns that have been raised here, Prince is not the commander-in-chief. If the military is not being supported the way they should be supported, we should be demanding from the commander-in-chief. It's not his responsibility to provide and to ensure that these things are there. You have the commander-in-chief. But I want to read the U.S. Embassy statement. And this is what I expected the president. This is the tone that I expected him to speak in. He said, why the U.S. Embassy supposed the right to peaceful protest, and they didn't use peaceful lightly, blocking roads and impeding the movement of Liberian citizens is disruptive and counterproductive. This is contrary to the respect of democracy and the rule of law. We call on all parties to come together for a peaceful resolution and dialogue. So when the United States Embassy is releasing this statement, it's indicative that this protest was never peaceful to begin with. Because if this protest were peaceful, then those folks would not intentionally impede the movement of other law-abiding citizens. You do not do that. But the point I want to make here is this. Where we find ourselves right now, we have two generals. We have this man still probably have maybe 10 more years that he could have given his service to our AFL. Now he's calling between a political appointment and a resignation that I believe can still be resented. I will call on the president of Liberia right now if he's listening.
You want to bring water?
To not listen to me, to not accept this resignation, and that I think Prince Johnson should serve as defense minister and not be appointed a freaking ambassador somewhere. Are we serious here?
President Boakai, do not listen to Robert Gagwa. He wants to bring war to our country.
Okay, Professor Larry come in.
Yeah, let me say something. And this is what I think we need to be clear on something. You guys are saying if someone decides to resign, they don't have a right to resign, whether it's influenced or not, because the president didn't fire him. Then you can say, oh, the protest led to the president making a decision to fire him. The protest led to the individual making a decision to resign. And you're saying the president should not accept the resignation.
No, he was told to resign. I don't think he resigned. He was told to resign.
The president said own volition, right?
Yeah,
he was told to resign.
No, but the president said he's on tell you otherwise. Said he did it on his own.
Exactly. Yeah, he said he did it on his own, and he graciously accepted.
Yeah, and he graciously accepted.
My point was, he should not have accepted.
If General Johnson, he was pressure, let him say it, but he shouldn't.
Exactly. So based on the information we have, the information simply tells us that he resigned on his own volition, meaning his own will. People are saying that the president should not accept his resignation, which I don't understand. They just kind of mind-blowing that if the managing director of the airport who decides that he wants to resign, and you guys are saying the president shouldn't accept the resignation because maybe someone protests. Let me say the last part real quick. You have to first understand, you see, this is where you have situational leadership, right? You have different types of leadership. This is a situation where you have to look at the people who are leading the protest. If you're telling me that the wives of the military people who are probably being prompted by the husbands, the military, to do this stuff, and you're saying resist them, tell me where in the world that you can see the military wants to protest or have someone removed, and the president should deny it. Not all protests are going to be the same. You are talking about the armed forces of Liberia. Not all protests are going to be the same. If people look, in Africa, a lot of the coup d'etat take place, it comes from the military, right? The forceful removal of a president starts with the military. You can't equate You cannot equate a military-backed protest to that of a no-cow managing director protest. It's not the same. You guys have to look at the situation. This is where situational leadership comes in play. But again, like what Grace said, I mean, I agree with her. The president he puts people there at his will and pleasure. The president decides to resign, accept the resignation. Otherwise, I want to know who on this platform is telling me they will not accept the resignation and let this mutiny beef up or grow within the military and let there be discontent through Mr. Boyka's 6 years. Not all protests are the same.
So let me come in here real quick. Let me come in real quick.
Under the circumstances, I would not accept it.
Give me a second. Somebody said earlier that if, like, I just got this message. Now, your people are planning now. They are planning now for LEC to do protests now.
There you go. That's the point I'm making. So let me say this, right? Let me say this.
Tomalin should go by order now because a lot of people talking.
If the LEC block road, you can call the military to remove that military.
So now the military so Larry, let me ask you a question.
Let me answer this one at a time. Go ahead, ask your question. I'll answer it one at a time because you're not looking at the situation. You're just saying, "Oh,
I hear your point about situation."
No, the situation here, Larry, what we are doing here is you're supporting a bad precedent. What you're telling us is the military should do it, okay, or their wives should do it, and it should be accepted. The president should act upon it. Now, when LEC folks come out to protest for their salary or hopefully a better lifestyle or living, then we should ask the military to kick them off. So then where are we going with this? One-sided? Are we being one-sided? Should we not also support their claim and provide what they're asking for? If the LEC folks come out and protest, I think the president should also listen because he's Mr. Listener and he listened to the people, so he should do exactly what LEC will be asking for. Not to say you will disagree with them. And I think I can see Grace out here. Grace is nodding her head.
I understand your point. Let's put
Grace is nodding her head because she agreed with me that when LEC.
I don't agree with you.
Let's put it in context. 1 second. Let's put it in context. If people at LEC decides to come out and protest, and the managing director of LEC decides to resign, you're saying the president shouldn't accept the resignation. Is that what you're saying, Lofa?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because again, we will be setting bad precedents. Under pressure, he's actually caving to pressure. That's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing here.
He resigned at his own will.
No. The resignation came as the result of pressure.
Tomalin, can I come in?
Real quick. The president initially rejected his request to resign.
Yeah, Keff coming.
He did the right thing at first. He didn't want to.
Look, can I come? You see, I think we should stop judging based on what we feel, and we should judge based on what we know. Grace was absolutely right. Look at your own constitution. Article 1 will tell you the people. So when people come, when you say, "Oh, the people don't have the right," the people do. According to the Constitution, Article 1 will tell you. Just open your 1986 Constitution. Just read and read Article 1. Robert, read Article 1.
I don't need to read Article 1. Just continue, Kev.
Yeah. So no, but again, we should not make that an argument to say, okay, if the people call for government appointees or the lawmaker to resign, and then they say no, it's wrong. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You can argue on the precedent or whatever, but it's right.
So President George
your soul happiness. You talk about your soul happiness. You can ask.
Kev.
You can.
Kev, I don't think anybody is saying the protest.
External forces involved in this entire protest.
But let me tell you this, Duke. The military, the entire military, it's not a ground that the the CDC government were popular there. So that your external force or whatever you do your
So
case.
if there was
There's
evidence,
nothing, there's nobody there.
So you're saying on the show that you're convinced that no member of CDC was in contact with those individuals who were protesting our wives.
1 billion%. 1 billion%. If you prove it,
I'm asking you. Kev, there's a reason why I'm going with this conversation, because eventually we'll come back, we'll revisit it. I'm asking you. You're saying that you're confident that nobody from the CDC had any conversation with these individuals.
Nobody.
Okay.
You see, let me
say this.
let
I
let me end it now. Let me
remember this response by Kev and remember this particular moment, because our time is coming when we'll revisit this conversation, and I want you to play this recording because I know exactly what I'm stating, and I know
what Duke, let me say this to you. I am not a backdoor person within stuff that happened in the CDC.
Okay.
I play front row seat in the CDC. Nobody there. Nobody there. We don't have that time. What they're doing at the military wives, it's a legitimate thing they're doing. They started it by giving the petition to the lawmaker, and we know Prince C. Johnson. We know his behavior there. It's not something that is hidden. We saw what he did to Women Sam Sion. We know the way he behaved. So don't come and talk about.
So you're saying that you're aware that the CDC had an existing issue with this gentleman.
Well, 2 more minutes on this topic.
You also are aware that the last conversation that was held between those individuals were between Nora Bono and the CDC. So you're familiar with those particular concerns that they're actually protesting for.
Well, what are you talking about?
I want y'all to listen to this. Kev says something that he knows the behavior of Prince Johnson. He understands the kind of person, and he made references to particular instances that the CDC had a problem with this gentleman on. It's important that we document this.
Nobody tell you CDC had a problem. Nobody tell you.
As proof becomes available, we will revisit these conversations, and it's only necessary that we say these things. You know, Kev, I don't fault you, John. I agree. It is their constitutional right. I agree that the article provides some level of protection for this individual. I do believe that the president should be a little bit swift in dealing with these issues. But I also believe that in addition to everything that occurred, the external forces and possibly internal forces, but there are more external forces that took advantage of this opportunity and put the government in
to run the government with
it doesn't justify anything, but we have to make reference of all of these things that are occurring.
Okay, guys. As we end this topic, the fact of the matter is that the Sawyer wives were protesting. I think they got away. The president, the minister of defense, they said the main reason was the minister of defense should not serve as minister of defense, the president appointee. He was already confirmed, and Johnson said that for the good of the country and for the military, he will step aside. So at the end of the day, President Bogga accepted his resignation. So Liberia is left with, we invested a lot of money in Zanga and in Johnson, but today Liberia is left, two of our finest soldiers are now retired. And the only position that will end us maybe will be military advisors or on some board or as ambassadors. So, and right now, Zanga is ambassador designate. He just at the foreign ministry now. He don't have a permanent assignment. And we don't know what will happen with Prince C. Johnson, but that's the situation we find ourselves in. But guys, quickly, over the weekend, the vice president, for the first time, made a first official visit of the country, representing the president at an inauguration program of one of the governors in Nigeria. And the VP is, I think by now he's in Nigeria because she left for Nigeria today, I think, Monday. But there was an issue about the plane he was traveling in. People had a problem with that. And I personally reached out to him, and the VP said that the plane was he was a friend of his, or a friend he met at a local hotel, decided to give him a flight to Ghana. But then from there, he was going straight to Nigeria to represent the president. But people have their own. People have their views. I mean, I'm about to open a discussion. Let us spend at least each person when you're talking. Please, I beg you, don't take more than 3 minutes. Let's spend 2 minutes so we can talk about
Can I
this.
start on this one?
Come in. We can talk about the guy who was appointed, who is still a fugitive. They say he's a fugitive, and they appointed him like, bro, we're end on that guy. But what's your thoughts? You think the VP was? I mean, he was in error to fly on that plane, and then to go to Ghana, even though no response to the Liberian government, nothing. What are your thoughts? Okay.
The Unity Party not criticized George Weah for 6 years for flying private jets, even after he had explained to them the same spot of story that the VP now wants us to believe, that his friend loaned him the jet and it was at no cost to the Liberian people. Did that stop them from criticizing the president? I mean, George Weah was the most criticized when it came to this flight issue. Why was the president flying private jet amidst all of the different things in Liberia when people were hungry? Why was the president flying private jet this place and this place? If the vice president was smart, and this is the reason why Tomalin, I keep asking, where's the wisdom? Where's the wisdom? Because I see decisions. Look, I'm a rookie yet, right? And I'm still a young man. But there are certain decisions that have been made here that just blows my mind. You have not even been in leadership for a good month. And basically everything that you criticize the previous government, your successors of, you've actually doing the same thing, which raises the question, were you jealous that it wasn't you flying the private jets? Or was it truly about the Liberian people and their concerns? Because I saw how he stepped on that jet. I saw the picture that was taken, and I got to tell you this. The vice president wanted to look like George Weah was jumping on those private jets when he was an RIA. Even if your friend offered you that, and you know that this will become a political issue, why even fly the jet? Why not just say, look, I don't think it's a great idea. I will fly business class to Ghana and I'll do what I have to do because the optics is bad. This is something that we criticize the previous government of. And for me to not be doing the same thing, even if it doesn't cost the Liberian people anything, is hypocritical. So there is no explanation yet, Tomalin. I don't care what the VP says. There is nothing that convinces me that his friend, no, George Weah said the same story. It's almost like he's going back in the book of George Weah to explain as to why, justify why he's flying private jet. Would this be the last time? Or is this something we should continue to see in the 6 years? The Unity Party, decisions have been made, things are being done. You talk about the recording video. They lambasted George Weah for issuing a recording video. The people said, why the president could not come and speak to the country? Today, Joseph Boakai is doing the same thing. So what change did we vote for here when everything you criticize the previous president of, you have indulged? I'll stop here for.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let me say this. Okay, I'm playing a role. The person that attacked me today. I'm playing a role. I'm playing devil advocate.
That's a moderator.
No, yeah. So I'm playing a role that I'm not gonna. I'm in the middle there. But let me say this now. The issue you heard over the weekend is that the jet that the vice president flew to Ghana on was not Liberian taxpayer money. Okay,
Yes.
So the private jet issue. The accused person we are using taxpayer money to fly private jet. But they said the VP when somebody gave him lift, free, no expense.
Listen,
Yeah.
I come in, guys. Let me
you don't need to explain more than this.
So yeah, go ahead, guys.
So let's get this.
Okay.
Let's get this.
I mean, too many you going next. We got everybody
Yes.
jumping on everybody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, Tony, call names. People.
okay, let me start with Gongo, then we'll continue. We'll go.
All right.
Let's go ahead.
You know, when I listened to that explanation, I remember Comrade Small Pew in 1995. He wrote an article. May his soul rest in peace. He said there's something wrong with the Liberian Executive Mansion. That even you take the best Liberian you put there, relative terms, the best Liberian you put at the executive mansion, they start to go wrong. He was criticizing Dr. Amos Sawyer at the time. He said, we have an articulate academic sitting as interim president, and he's repeating errors of President Doe, errors of President Tower. This is exactly what is happening here. These guys were considered the best, the cream. They were the change people. There is some transcript, some template. They go there, they read it exactly. We are template. This is exact template that we are used. What was the essence? Was that a change? The code of conduct is very clear on this. This, you can debate it. This is a gift. An offer is a gift. So the vice president actually received a gift worth more than $1 million, and he accepted it without reporting it. An offer. So if somebody take him to a restaurant and offer to feed him, that the cost of that feeding.
You said $1 million, please? Can you?
That's a gift.
You said $1 million, Mr. Gonglo?
The cost of the plane.
$1 million? Come on.
No, we need to be clear now. You said something, $1 million.
Yeah. I said $1 million. I said the value of that gift. I'm putting the value of the plane into that. They giving this.
But the plane is not for him. He flew on the plane.
Yeah, so I'm putting it. No.
But what's the cost of the flight, though? That's what Mr. Gonglo is saying.
Oh, $1 million from Monrovia to Accra.
No.
Because we have to ride a private jet.
Got a factor in the fuel.
Yeah.
Everything.
Okay, yeah. Let Gonglo finish. Yes, 30 seconds.
Here's the point. The vice president and President Bwaga need to know that once they are elected at that highest office, they become property of the state. The state decide, even the security decide where they go, who they can shake hands with, who they can visit, who they can visit. That's what you see presidents do. The state security decide which flight you're going to go on, which program you should attend, which program you should not attend. You are no longer an ordinary person. What he did now, he just violated the code of conduct. And I think if we had a stronger legislature, there will be an action. Wow. But we don't have.
Well, let me come in quick. I just have a short statement to make. The first thing is for Vice President Kun. Our first question to you is that did that friend ever send you a private jet when you were senator, brother man?
Exactly.
Did he ever say you saw you riding private jet when you were senator? No. Nobody knew, but you the only time we heard about you when they said that you were taking money behind here and taking bribe for decision making in our legislature or in our Senate. So you never had private jet before. Number one. Number two, when you the senator, when you as vice president, when you sit in a private jet, it means that there have to be some kickbacks. We don't know what you promising that person from Liberia for them to send you a whole plane to get into ride. So we concerned about that. We're concerned. And that's the two things I have to say. You never rode private jet before. Why now? And then you posting for picture. You want we are where you criticize. We are here all day. All day. We are in private jet. Oh, we are in private jet. Now you're riding the same private. Everything that we are there. You're even 1 month into power or 6 weeks.
They give you a recording messages too.
Almost like a blunder. You riding private jet in front of our Liberia. In my country, they get private jet there. Man.
Okay. Listen,
moderate our government, please.
That private jet. We
can rescue the country.
That private jet is owned by Ibrahim Mohammed, a businessman. Muhammad, a businessman who trying to do a business with the Liberian government.
Well, he's not. He's not yet. He's not.
Hey, Tony, let him
Drink some water.
But no, but the man's the moderator now, so he.
I just want clarity.
That was very clear. Just say he's trying to.
Go ahead. This is very, Liberia. Sorry for that country, man. I just said he's trying to do business. I use the word trying to do business with the Liberian government. He came to Liberia.
Ben trying to say you.
He came to Liberia to strike a business deal. So a potential businessman, you riding his plane. It's not a conflict of interest. It's not a conflict of interest. He rides his plane outside Liberia. The question is, what business they're going to transact? What other deal in that plane? You could see him, his son. They're all, relaxing the plane. They're doing all that.
Wow.
So what? Yeah, the pictures are there. We can put it up. So what business? What business?
Can you please put the pictures up?
No, please, yeah, please don't.
No, can we put it up?
Why are you trying to see
Why you don't want to see the picture?
Somebody were happy.
In time. Working in time, guys.
They make it be talking about the pictures.
Other people come here. I want to come in.
So let me finish now, Peabody.
Well, we said two.
Yeah, my man. Y'all yeah, but
Mayor, go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. Come on, man, talk.
No.
Let him go. Come on, man.
No. Okay, I'll come back. Let him go.
I will take it on West Keff stop.
Peabody will come here, right?
Okay, Peabody, go ahead.
Peabody, don't try to bully people into together talking, man.
I think the optics was bad. I think we need to give it a chance. In the case of President Weah, it was a regular thing, thousands of dollars. Larry can talk about how much those flight costs when President Weah made a trip out of the country. Every trip President Weah made, it was on his private jet. Europe, everywhere he flew on a private jet, and it's listed in the budget that the president used this amount to fly to different countries. So in the case of, I think the optics with VP Cohn was just it was bad. But I think we need to give it some time. Is this a pattern? Every time he's traveling to the country,
let me speak.
Somebody.
Okay, Ben, give it a chance. President, we are
finished. We are not elected.
No. Every time he went out of the country, he flew private jet.
Okay.
This is the first trip. Mahama gave him a flight. Let's wait and see if this become a pattern that we can
listen
see.
To Peabody. Listen to Peabody. Peabody, I bet. My man, wait, listen. You the moderator.
Tomalin, don't do that.
You the moderator. My conversation. Go ahead, Ben. I'll be the guest. Go ahead.
Tomalin, you the moderator. Please stop opining on people's opinions.
I said Peabody making a good point.
No, don't say making a good point. Don't do that. Don't opine on people's opinions.
Okay, Chairman, go ahead.
Freely. But let me say this. I'm listening to Peabody.
After Ben, I'm coming.
I'm listening to Peabody. I'm listening to Tommy. Oh, it stays soon. Is a young, the baby ain't born yet. The teeth ain't growing. That's how George Weah started. You remember the first time George Weah rode a plane, a private jet? He said his friend gave it to him to boost his morale.
The same story.
This is the exact same story. Y'all want to sit down here to dress it? Hi, we're not happy.
How many times has this man traveled?
Let me finish. Y'all want to dress it? Hi, we're not starting now. Guess what? One of the fundamental campaign messages of the Unity Party against the Weah administration or George Weah himself was the exorbitant price they said that he was paying for private jets. That was one of the first things. Now, I do agree that we even know how President Joe Biden should be traveling this week to go to the AU. We're waiting to see how he's going to travel. Maybe he will go commercial. Nothing's wrong with that, right? I do want to pivot a little bit on this notion because this issue of private jet, for me, is just a hypocrisy. That's all it is. That's all it comes down to, right? And like Keff Hassan said, the issue of conflict of interest, because these were the exact things that the Unity Party campaigned against. They were heavy on this issue. The president is trying, and guess what? It was the vice president office that put out the pictures. Nobody went looking for the picture. It was the vice president office that put out the picture that the vice president was climbing on that private jet. So my only issue here is this. Look, let them be transparent to the people. That's why I continuously said during the election, saying y'all won't talk about what we are doing. right? The issue here is not whether the person did it in the past and it was right or it was wrong. That's why the conversation about Unity Party being a change to the CDC was it something that was the issue that people argue here against. Because at the end of the day, it's the same players that we're talking about. But listen, I give it to the vice president. He didn't spend taxpayers' money on the flight, but like everybody is saying, the optics look bad. The issue of conflict of interest was brought up because this is exactly what President Weah said. When the guy, and guess what? The guy that gave President Weah the plane ended up being the guy who was heading Ibomaf. They came out with the Ibomaf, the Ibomaf and the Eton thing, right? So that's all I'm about to say. You know, I'm not in the whole.
So let me.
Okay, well, let me get a program note. Let me make a tomorrow for the first time. The chairman of this House Committee on National Security will be our guest. The Honorable Musa Hassan Belete will be our guest tomorrow. He will touch on the Defense Minister resignation and other national security issues. So we'll be having the chairman of the House Committee on National Security, Honorable Musa Hassan Belete, for the first time since he became a lawmaker. So special program tomorrow. Go ahead, guys.
So this is what I have to say about this entire this issue of optics. I know you guys are trying to sugarcoat it. We all got it. The optics is bad, but the reality here is the level of deception. From the very first day President Weah flew private jet, the entire country went wild.
Yep.
The entire country, from the very first, it don't matter how long he's doing it. It don't matter when he started to do it. No, Dr. Peabody, it don't matter. It don't matter. The fight here is, this is how it starts.
Yep.
This is how it starts. It starts like this, and if we don't react to it and say, well, simply, this is just the first time, then it happened again. I just saw the pictures. And look, I will post the pictures. I will post the pictures so people can see and let us get the people's reaction to the vice president. The vice president literally behaving like President Weah. This is exactly what he's doing here. You told Liberians you are coming to rescue the country. Instead, what you're doing, you're pretending, telling us, oh no, guess what? Your friend gave it to you. The conflict of interest. Come on, Dr. Peabody, we can't do this. And then Tomalin here saying, no, we can't do this.
Yeah, guys, let us open the lines.
I will put the pictures up.
We need to make our point.
So guys, let me guys, I've been interrupted. I sat back here and listened to everybody went back and forth. Let me land. I sat back here patiently and allowed everybody to talk, and I didn't interrupt anybody. So let me land, and you guys can come through. Okay? This issue of people wanting to side with certain people because, I mean, they are buddies and all of these things must stop. It needs to stop. This thing right here, the optics is bad. It don't represent why Liberians voted for Honorable Joseph Barker and Jeremiah.
Saying the same thing that we're saying.
Can you put a picture up?
But let's wait until we see the pattern. Then we can say, yeah, he's using government funds.
Why should we wait for the pattern? Why should we wait for the pattern when it's already there?
Why? It doesn't know one time.
Exhibit that already. It is
Why doesn't know one
exhibited.
time?
We should stop it.
Dr. Peabody, because one time can be sweet. The first time you do it, you will want to do it again. When you get it,
let me put the pictures. Let me put the pictures up. Let me put the pictures up. So Liberians, let me see Liberians celebrate that.
Guys, so before we go to the phone lines, somebody Larry, you want to weigh in?
Let me just say something in 1 minute. Yeah, I haven't spoken, so let me just say something real quick on this topic, right? So every time you see, so two things real quick. There's no such thing as a free good, right? It's basic economics. Every time someone is giving you a free jet, they more than likely want something in return. And this is where this whole notion of pay to play comes from, right? Because you may not be able to quantify, or you may not be able to put some amount on that jet, but there's some money, of course, involved in it, and more than likely that person will want something in return. We criticize President Weah. On every jet, you look at the tail of the jet. you'll see the call letters. And those letters on the jet will tell you who owns the jet, where it's flying from. And one time I wrote the company that President Weah were renting this jet from. It was costing anywhere from $70,000 to up to $100,000 per flight, because it costs sometimes $4,550. And this is what the company told me. So it's not free. And you see, this is the reason why the senator from the Foreign Relations Committee here in the U.S., Senator Bob Menendez, because he was doing some favors for Egyptian business people, he got into trouble and now he got indicted. But I think this whole conversation we're having now is a lesson to Vice President Kuhn. You guys should kind of refrain from this whole business of flying private jet, especially when your country is in the top 10 poorest countries in the world, right? Nothing wrong with flying commercial. Please fly commercial. The president of Mexico, right? The president of Mexico, Obrador, the first thing when he came in, he got rid of the presidential jet. He flies commercial. He's always on a commercial jet. And he's not even flying business class. He's flying in the back with just the regular people. So people need to kind of pay attention to some of these things. And again, a lesson that should be learned right now, get off this whole notion about private jet. There's nothing wrong with flying business class. At least if people that would know, you're not paying to play, or someone is not paying to play. That's all I wanted to say on that topic.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a great point.
So how many person remain? Your two remain, right?
Yeah, it's two us.
The phone line.
From my end, because a lot has been said, but I'll just quote this from a piece. I'm actually working on a project about this particular issue, right? And I'll say this: a lesson of hypocrisy. This is a real life teaching moment. It is just amazing how fast things are happening. And I say this to say, right, this was really silly on the part of the vice president. This is an issue that we use as talking point in the opposition. Come on, it is that. It should be something that should just come, without even thinking through it, right? It is wrong. Whatever justification, there doesn't need to be any justification, because in the end, the agenda before was the country is poor, there's not money. Some of the money spent on private jets should be redirected to sectors in the economy to improve the lives of the people. And I think but then the most important part here, I talk about Ravenous Wars, and I'll release some of the excerpts from what I'm writing on. But you see something happening, and I said this the other night, that a beautiful story is being told. Those who were against, those who were pushing for an agenda based upon nationalism and holding the George Weah administration accountable, are vocal about this same abuse today. This is the hypocrisy we talk about. It is wrong all across the board, whether you're Unity Party and your CDC, but these are the things that we need to highlight and continue to hold each party accountable. I'm not surprised. This is a recurring theme. You're on the other side, you present yourself as an angel, you're critical of all these issues. When you're given the opportunity, you become an abuser. In the end, those who are protecting the abusers now sit in a row wearing the play victim, and they want to act like this is a political issue to care about, or an agenda based upon nationalism. Hypocrisy, to me, it is wrong all around, and we shouldn't be supportive of it. But again, it is just amazing how fast these things are happening. I'm embarrassed. I hope somebody will talk to the VP and people in the government and let them know that they need to just take a pause and start observing some of the actions.
Let me clap for Julia. I agree.
By the way, I'm releasing my piece tonight, about 3 pages, not all along, in segments. Please read it, because a lot of the concerns it should bring clarity to a lot of you who have concerns about my message on this show. Hopefully you can read it. Thank you.
I will.
I will be very brief, too many. But I think talking about the private jet thing, I think what happened the weekend, the uptick is not good. And probably the intent may have been different, but the optic is not good. But again, I want to believe one person that said, even when President Weah came in with the private jet situation, and I said that private jet thing was a cost-saving mechanism. But many people wouldn't really understand the detail of that. Now, for instance, you're chartering a flight around $100,000 or thereabout, and the president is traveling sometime with 10, 15 persons. If you're on a commercial flight, sometimes you pay even more than that. More than that if you're on a commercial flight. But we don't understand the details. We are just sentimental in Liberia sometimes about issue. We've kind of a peculiar set of people. We don't pay details to those things. I can recall I asked President Sully, I was privileged to ask the former president, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, why is it, Madam President, always you most often fly on commercial flight? She said to me, is the same thing about the optics, but many people don't understand the economic aspect of it. because when I'm traveling on Brussels, normally she travel on Brussels, she will have to book sometime more than 15 or 10 seats in the business class there, and they will spend a lot of money, right? And all those things. It also come with the security of the president again, and this is kind of a fine. But I'm one individual that believe our leaders should always be given the privilege to be protected, and that's why many presidents across the world, probably you have less than 1%. That when they travel on private jets. So President Salih said this, but the optics currently is not good on the most serious note, because if he criticized Joseph yesterday and you came and you did the scene, it's actually not a good thing. But again, probably from President Taylor, for instance, he normally uses our diplomatic relationship with most of the countries. Most of the time, President Taylor traveled out of the country then, as president of the Republic of Liberia, was flight sent by his counterpart presidents, right? His counterpart president would normally send, oftentimes the Libyan government needs to send a special jet for the president. Sometimes Obasanjo did the same for him. So, I mean, it's part of that. But again, this the new debate, but I'm looking forward to seeing what our new president is going to do moving forward. But I'm told that he's not going to go to Addis for this coming meeting, presidential something. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is going to be representing him. But we look forward to see what's going to happen.
Okay, here come. Let's take some away. You know, but let me ask why the guy coming to do the calls? Let me ask a question, right? Okay, the presidents can receive their friend and send a plane for them to travel. That's not a problem, right?
No, that's not a problem. You're using your diplomatic relationship. That's a bilateral arrangement.
Okay, then when also if you prefer, if they would cost the taxpayer $700,000 for you to travel, and somebody who is not even doing business with your government, nothing, and they give you a free, you expect you prefer that offer, or you want to say what you prefer?
Tomalin, let me tell you, Tomalin, I know where you want to go.
Yeah.
The law is the law. There is a code of conduct.
Okay, I agree.
As president,
don't do it.
You are a property of the state. The net worth of Liberia is in billions of dollars. Okay, we're not going to allow one businessman sit down somewhere and try to treat our country, our leaders like bear boys. Or I can send my Jeff to bring our president. No, that's demeaning. Which president around the world, which country allow this people to just fly their leaders? No, it's wrong, Tomalin. And I think, look, if we have a stronger independent,
that's a cause.
Stronger house, there will be an inquiry on the action of the vice president. I can tell you that.
The guy,
conduct.
To talk more about the trip, I would just suspend that one, because if I mention the other one, I know you will kill me. So let me do that one. So let me do that one.
I think the update was bad. The update was bad.
It's not update. It's in violation of the law. It's not update.
This is not updates.
It's not.
Yes. Somebody from the good governors just told me that they agree with you guys. The person said that the code of ethics says anything above $200 it should not be accepted. So, but again, I think that Peabody said, I mean, if it become a pattern, we're gonna raise a concern. But right now, I think we should just.
Yeah, I mean, if it is done through a bilateral arrangement,
it's a violation. It does not have to be a pardon before.
If it is a country to country, a government is doing that.
But then Sylvester, if that's the case, if we feel like it's cheaper to have our leaders fly private jet as opposed to a commercial or business class, then let the state buy a private jet. How much is it going to cost?
It is, Raul. It is.
I heard it say cheaper to fly private jet than to fly commercial.
It is. But here's my thing.
Told me that in the face.
Yeah, it is. But
then when you use it at your private plane. Come again. Let's using it at your private plane. Where you travel.
Let's invest in having an Air Force like this. Right?
Exactly, Raul. I mean, that would be up to
most countries in West Africa. They have presidential jets. Sierra Leone or Ivory Coast, Guinea, they all have. Okay? And Liberia is very rich.
Honorable Vice President of Liberia, Honorable Jeremiah Kwanku.
The only thing is that we are a very corrupt nation.
You can even tell he used to it.
Hey man, I may be traveling for a very long time.
Man,
Man.
stop that.
Man, that's no private. That's no private jet.
Private jets. You're
No,
giving
that
me
one, I
private
ain't
jet.
getting into
Private
it,
jet.
man. That one too cheap. We're not getting it out. Stop that, man. That boy be Henry money. He been traveling.
It's a private jet. Nobody will take that over.
Chris, that one bad. Don't go
Private jet.
personal.
Don't go there,
You
man.
cannot ride a private jet. Why our people in rural Maryland can't even find pipe water to drink? You stop that. He does
Chris,
not
do
look
not
good.
go. Chris, do not
He
go
does
personal.
not look good
But let
claiming
the
in a
woman
private
give
jet.
her opinion, gentlemen.
Don't give me chill, let me breathe.
Yeah,
He does not look good getting in that private jet. He look like he used to it. And I hate things.
That's
Vice President Kun, we ready want you to succeed. Because when you succeed, like bro succeed, do not get back in that private jet to go anywhere because it doesn't look good for the country. Like bro is one of the poorest country in the world. Our children are one of the least when it comes to education and healthcare. Y'all stop it. Y'all don't do that.
No, Grace, we are rich, but we're poorly managed. We're rich. We're not poor country. Liberia got a lot of resources.
Robert, how are we rich?
That manage so it's
resources.
Okay,
man.
guys.
Robert,
how we really rich?
Since the phone not coming, let's talk the last topic. It's a
We're not going to the phone.
Our riches are not in commercial quantity. That's the problem.
Yeah, but we can tap into area where
Okay, yeah.
Before
we go forward, I just wanted to make folks aware about our Cash App. Many of you have reached out to me about us having a Cash App and would like to contribute to the closing acumen. I think we have a Cash App now, and we encourage you to donate because you're asking why we don't come on 5 times a week. It is expensive to have a show 5 times a week. So yes, we hope you will generously give to supporting the closing acumen. All right.
And let me ask you, Peabody, that's the reason why you guys are not on YouTube too. I'm gonna donate. That's the
We're on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
On YouTube?
No, it's not appearing. I'm been searching on YouTube. I'm not saying.
Yeah, because people ask me.
We have a link. We're on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Lofa can give you the link. We are.
Okay, guys. This is a gentleman. What is his name? Daniel Johnson. He was appointed by the president, and now we have been told that he has an open case in the U.S. He's a fugitive from justice. But so we want to find out. And people are saying that he should be immediately appointment should be immediately withdrawn. But I'm sure the president might have done due diligence before he appointed that guy. I'm sure they did some background check on him, whatever the case. But I don't know. I'm not just Ben. Don't look at me like an eye. I'm just saying something.
Because you always assuming for the government this.
Yeah, play a lot of
I'm sure the government did this. I'm sure the president did this. I'm sure the president
somebody you got to do all these things I'm saying. So I say I mean.
You say you show. You say you show.
Because President Boga been in the business for a long time. So I don't think he will. I mean,
my brother, I want you to put your name in the line for.
I'm not never nobody.
The right choice.
I assume.
Thank you, Kelvin.
I assume. The words assume. I assume. So what are your thoughts about this guy appointment? You think the guy he should be withdrawn immediately, or they should do a background check? What should happen?
Tomalin.
Yeah.
Let me say this, right? Let me say this. Do you think that if they did any due diligence, do you think that they've asked the tough questions? Do you think that we'll be finding out that this man supposedly have an open case in the U.S. now or before the appointment was made? These are things that if proper due diligence is done, you find out. And to not be in the midst of all of that, you say, you know what, in as much as I would like this guy to be appointed in this area, I'd rather him go and clear his name. And then after he comes back and he can serve without any kind of noise or distraction. Now, I do not know him personally. I do know his wife. She's always in my city in Atlanta. I think they live at some point live in Atlanta.
You know the guy.
I don't know him. I don't know him, but I know his wife. I know his wife.
The story about him is true or not?
I don't know. I don't know whether or not he has an open case in the U.S. But what I'm saying is, all of these things are coming up. you would think that you would have expected this based on the narrative from a President George Weah government, right, and his nominees. I didn't think we saw this kind of stuff during his nomination processes, right? And we're just hearing all of these things about different nominees. Oh, this person was this person was that person was this. And look, the government should ask the tough questions. And if this is true, I think that he should focus on clearing his name. But we will not be discussing this, and this would not be a public matter had the government done its due diligence. Find out what was happening, who are these folks, what their record looks like before you appoint them. I mean, simple as that. Clearly, they have not done that. And it raises a lot of questions, which is why I asked you previously, where is the wisdom? We expect Joseph Boakai to be a career politician. He comes with immense political experience. Where is the wisdom?
But Robert, let me ask you this. You know, it will be difficult to do due diligence on everybody. No, we need to be very frank here. It can't be everybody. We need to be sometimes frank here.
Oh, please.
No, come on. Even in the world most powerful country, even in the world most powerful country, sometimes there are information will come about certain individuals when they are promoted in certain areas, right? So we cannot. And more than that, this Daniel Johnson guy, I interacted with, he's a very extraordinarily smart guy. The information is that someone from the bureau came and sued him here because this whole thing, you need to take time to go through it because I've had some serious conversation about this thing.
I'm sure his wife is watching.
Yes.
I know his wife. This is the reason why I don't know the details about this case. The point that I'm making, and I'm not going to make any comment about that case. That has nothing to do with me. That's a personal matter. But what I'm saying is, you can't pick and choose the level of vetting that you do on one nominee and not on the other.
No, I agree.
If something is going to come up, then if you're going to do due diligence of vetting on all of your nominees, make sure that you do that, right? What I'm saying is, it's a lot of just noise around this presidency since Joseph Boakai took over. We've just been hearing too many noise. It's too soon. North on left, north on right. It's just too soon. So where is the wisdom here?
Robert, my point, I just want to chime in on there. I know the neo-progressive is trying to neo-progressively critique the government, but it's okay.
No, I'm open to that.
I know you're trying to neo-progressively critique the government.
Absolutely no. I've been very objective.
Let me say this. Like you, Robert, like you, I don't know this gentleman, but like you, I know his wife, right? I know she's a good person. And so, like you rightly said, my advice to Mr. Johnson will be to probably have a press conference and clear the air. What the issue is, like Pee-wee is saying, right? Pee-wee seems to know him or know of him or know of the case. I think if he is now wanted in the United States, he should come out, he should clear the air, he should have a press conference, because guess what? When you get appointed to a high level position, like he has been appointed to, he hasn't. I think he was appointed what's the position?
Robert Fly, and the appointment is not even a presidential nomination.
Yeah, but
it should be.
It don't matter though. It don't matter what kind of appointment it is. It don't matter.
But it is a presidential. It is a presidential appointee because he got nominated by the president of Liberia.
Yeah, of course.
That was an oversight. It should be the Minister of Transport.
Okay. With that being said, my thing is he should come out. Right, I'm not going to cast any aspirations because I have no information whatsoever apart from what we have seen on the news. Right, my thing is, if he is now wanted in the United States, he should voluntarily come out and provide that information to the public, backed by facts, right, to show that he is now wanted. If he is wanted, I don't think he would even want to put his family or himself through what he's going through right now.
No, you're right.
Put yourself through this situation if you definitely know that you're gonna get through. I keep reminding people, and this is the last thing I was saying on this. I keep reminding people, this is not the 90s or the 80s. This is not even 5 years ago. The things that used to fly 5 years ago is not flying anymore. The things that we used to accept Because whether you like it or not, we live in the information age. This is the information era where anybody can go and Google anything, and guess what? It pops up out there. So I just want to say to him, I think he would do himself a lot of justice if he comes out and make the clarity, or maybe go through the executive mansion and they can make the clarity to the country, because it seems to be there is something undercurrent. That's why it's being reported, because I think tomorrow again, Front Page Africa is reporting on this issue again. So that's all I would say on that.
He's going to speak to it sometime this week to get the necessary clarification. But yeah, that's okay.
I told you the New York Progressive has an interest in it.
No, I got an interest in it. No, it's not an issue that I got an interest.
Yeah, just see where you man.
No.
It's obvious that you have an interest. Everybody can see that.
No, there's no interest. There's no interest. It is based on the valuation. That's
you know, we Liberians, we always do this when it's our people. Because Liberia is a small country, so we all know one another. Kind of protect their own. So, but the thing is that it's so sad for us to continue to do this, because it's damaging the country. It is, and you know, the whole thing about due diligence with this whole appointment issue with this Ome Bwaka. Ome Bwaka is a Ome. What did you people expect? When we came on that social media and told you to vote young, energetic people in, or people in mid-age that have the strength and can check and balance things, y'all said no. Y'all wanted this old man that people not detecting to. And y'all know me. It's time for me to talk for Bwaka, I will talk for him. It's time for me to tell the truth, I will tell the truth. Y'all decided to vote this old man that people are detecting to. Maybe Honorable Bwaka never even knew who you were appointing. They just told him, yeah, okay, Prince, well, name Prince, they're putting this position. Okay, he just put him there. And not knowing they who were telling this guy to the president to appoint their friends, they knew that this man had underlying issues with criminality, and they just sat down and told the puppet to do a thing that would just slap with the Liberian people. And if you forget to know that this whole campaign, President Joseph Bwaka attached himself to another criminal center, so the people will start to think that they major we're attaching himself to criminals, and that's the problem. So the president is not too alert to be able to check and balance everything. He needs somebody in his corner that really got his back. When they gave him these names and their friend or someone did not pay money for the position and not take money from people, he need to checkmate this thing and say, you know what, I want to know who this person is. Person is, since he doesn't have a hiring a committee at this point in time. I want to know who this person is, and they do check and balance on this person. They in America, they constantly call CCC verify. You put a person information in, you get information for 25 years what they've been doing with their life, and they see that stuff, and they want to appoint the person for the nominate the person for the person to go for appointment. But they think it's just too sad that I don't know what Liberia people expected. Just look at this. Liberia has been rescued. Thank you.
So let me say this, right. It's sad to see that the same group of us who will often say we want change in Liberia, when it comes to us or our monsters, then we want to protect them. We want to shift the goalposts. If somebody else, then that person should go through everything in the world. They should be criticized for everything they have done. But when it is our own, then we want to defend it in every way possible. I hear Pee-wee talking about it is difficult for everyone to be vetted and all of these things.
But that's correct. That's correct.
Come on, Pee-wee, come on, man. Look, Pee-wee. Let the effort be Pee-wee. Hold on 1 second, please.
Yes.
Let the effort be made so that people can see at least the effort was made. Okay. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Everyone simply just getting pull and push. Had this been the case, we probably wouldn't be here sitting and talking about this individual today, because Honorable Bwaka had 3 weeks after he was elected. He had all the time to put together a team to vet these nominations or these nominations that are going on. All of the nominees could have gone through the needed process. That is part of doing due diligence. Unfortunately, he purposely sat and played it off as though he didn't care. Now today we're hearing all of these things come up, and then we want to justify why these things are happening, or mistakes are. No, we should not continue to lower the bar. The more we lower the bar, the more Liberia continue to plunge down the drain. Let's try to elevate the conversation a little bit more than simply just being sentimental or siding with people we know. Because at the end of the day, guess what? Liberia remains right where we are. Why our brothers and sisters, our neighbors, continue to progress. And that is not what you want for Liberia. So we should hold everybody at the same standard or even raise it higher. If anyone,
guys,
Lofa, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. Few seconds. I do agree with you, Lofa.
Yes, program note. We are coming. Program note. Tomorrow again, we'll have a special session, special edition of the show. Honorable Musa Hassan Bility, the chairman on national security in the lower house, will be our guest. We'll touch on every issue. So if you come prepared, so it should be on issue. We'll touch on every issues that we have to touch on, including the resignation of the defense minister today, and the protest by the former AFL's guys' wives and so forth, and every issue that's happening, we'll touch on it. So come prepared. Let us engage on ability. We'll have here, I think, 3.5 hours. We'll have a real tough show. We want to make sure that when people come on the platform, we should give them, we should grill them and engage them so that Liberian people can understand what's happening in the government. So tomorrow we'll have him. He'll be our guest. So let's come tomorrow and engage him. And lastly, people are asking me, but I'll just throw it up there as we do our closing. The president should have attended his first African Union Summit in Ethiopia, but we just got information that he will not be going to the summit. Usually, president who just took office usually go to the summit to get introduced to the African. There's a whole African continent, AU summit. But he's telling the foreign minister, Madam Cyril Besto.
The president probably trying to cut costs.
But I think it's important that
of course we need representation of
that this. And then the last thing, do you think it is fair that for the Liberian people to know exactly when the government official, the president, anybody who's traveling, to know that the budget they're traveling on, or to know who are traveling?
Tommy, are we going to take calls? Or
I ask you a question. I don't think we're taking calls because
it is. Yeah, it is within the traveling ordinance, right? The ordinance, this on amendment of the traveling ordinance and the rest of that. Yes, within the traveling ordinance, that's why they got the brackets. The president, the vice president will fall on a particular bracket. Other ministers of government, minister proper will fall on a certain category, and the rest of that you have your daily allowance and the rest of it, and it will fall in the category of the cities you move into. For instance, New York and London wouldn't have the same line. So yes, it will be sped up there, and you coming out with government money. But in the ordinance now, there's new law that no government official will ever travel for more than 7 days. Anything more than 7 days, there should be deep explanation attached to that. But no government official should travel for more than 7 days. And the ordinance also will have to provide who will have to fly first class. Only the president of the Republic of Liberia will fly first class. All other government officials will fly business class. And then deputy minister and the rest, assistant minister downward will go economic class and the rest of that. So I mean,
that's not happening.
You can still contribute to the cash out. I mean, it's up there, Nora.
Bro, is it?
I said, that's why you're happening. They're not flying the economy.
So I want to say. I think this I predicted it. Tomalin, you aware I can bring our conversation we had in the back. I told you that the president was not going to make this trip. In fact, before he even got elected, I told you. I said I don't believe Joe Boyka is going to be a traveled president. He's not.
But he stay to the country.
Listen, this is what the country voted for. This is what the country voted for. Listen, I'm going to defend the president's right to do what he needs to do within the best framework of his ability to carry out his function. He is my president now. I don't expect President Joe Boyka to be traveled. He's not going to be a travel president. He's not going to be going all over the place. And guess what? There's no law that says the president must attend the AU meeting.
But then how will we rescue the country?
I disagree, though.
No, I know you disagree, but let me say this: the president can designate.
He's right. There's no law. Ben's right.
The president can designate his vice president. the president can designate his foreign minister. That the two people normally that the president can send out to represent.
No, Ben. I tell you, that's a law. That's a law.
Thank you.
Then what law? What did law say? He got to travel?
Article 57 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. The president is the chief architect of the foreign policy.
Of course.
Yes.
But what does that say about traveling?
That means when you could be the
Hey man, Pee-wee.
It is.
You see, Pee-wee, there's the thing, but you can't. You said there's a law. There's no law that says the president should travel.
No,
the law says the president is architect. But wait, now let me finish. The law says the president is the chief architect of our foreign policy.
Yes.
That's why the same law says the president, not really law, but the president has that prerogative to send you, Pee-wee, to represent him. He has that prerogative. And the Nigerian people, Tomalin George, knew this. We did not vote for a 60, 40, 50-year-old president. Listen, Joe Buckeye is not your president who you're gonna see all over the world. He's not gonna do that.
Joe Biden is 80 years old.
Ben, if that's the case, if that's the case, then if the president is incapacitated because part of his function is to ably represent us internationally.
Well, so what he got pressing national duties at home?
Is he going to send? Is he going to send the ambassador?
Suppose he has pressing things at home. Listen, guys, the president.
No, but we don't care about all that. We don't care about that.
The
president cannot carry out his functions. The president cannot.
But the president is not incapacitated. What are you talking about, Tommy? Is the president?
He's not forced to travel.
He's not. That is true. Is the president forced to travel?
Yes, he got to travel.
What makes him forced to travel?
Well, no one is forcing him to travel, but you can't
but
say
it. You see that?
But Ben, but you can't say it. No, but Ben, no, you can't say it. This is what we
got it. Wait, you got it.
Let him resign. Let him resign.
One at a time. I think.
Yeah, let people down. Go to Keff.
But let me say this. Just saw the inauguration. We don't have a strong president.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
So in order for the president has to be conscious of his health.
Exactly.
I think another thing is, it is so embarrassing that his first month in office.
People understand you are healthy though. We don't know you have health issues.
That's why we're seeing cancellation of major event today. You see, I mean, his first 2 or 3 weeks in office, when tell me the president have an invitation to introduce himself as a man who's bringing change to Liberia, who is like that, and you can't even go for AU conference.
Is it confirmed though? By the way, is it confirmed that he's not going?
What? He's not going to go. Honestly, I'm not got information that he's not going to go.
Then he will go to the next one.
Unfortunately, the foreign minister would sit in the council of foreign minister meeting.
Guess what, Pee-wee? Guess what? This is what Liberia voted for.
Yeah, but let him resign.
How will he resign? He doesn't have to resign.
Listen, resign what? Listen. No, I think we need to step. Y'all had the rest of the conversation.
The president was very healthy about the previous issue. Any health issues. And
no,
so
listen.
If we have health issues that will restrict him in Monrovia, then he must resign.
Robert.
If traveling alone is concerning if traveling alone is concerning for the president, then you want to sit here and tell us that he doesn't have any health issue. That is concern. He can barely travel. I mean, his first appearance at come on now, don't let us not do this. The reality here is this, right? I want to agree with Robert 110%. I want to agree with Robert 110%. If the president is incapacitated, let him step out the way because
come on, man, Lofa.
What do we?
Yes, come on, man, that's it. If he can barely travel,
Lofa, if the president doesn't make one trip, does it mean he's incapacitated?
No.
Oh, it sends a bad signal. So now we are concerned.
No.
Now we are concerned about his ability to
Listen. Yes. Here is my take on this matter. Let's go back. Let's look at the late John Magufuli of Tanzania.
Thank you.
He never traveled to the United Nations. He said it was a waste of time for him. He didn't go to AU conference. He started right in Tanzania. He went to Zimbabwe, Zambia.
That's why he didn't take it. Only for the shot. You see why he had to get it.
Peabody let him talk.
He went for real issues. And he said, I'm going to focus, save money. In fact, John McAfee canceled major holidays. He said, time for holidays, officials should go in the various districts and get in public in several ways. Do road brushing or clean up. There is no jamboree. And that's how you move the country. All that's left is for President Bouaka and his team to message and speak to the nation how he's going to govern. Is he going to be a president that is going to take maybe on a major holiday? You say, I'm going to Maryland today for this holiday, or I'm going to Birmingham for this. I mean, it just depends on the messaging. And I think we should not beat on him.
Tomalin, Judge, let's the time.
Yeah, the time.
Somebody who made a contribution.
Yeah, let's do it.
Recognize the person that Nora, right?
Miss Irina George. Miss Irina George sent a gift of $100 towards the show. Thank you, Aya. Thank you.
Okay, let me come in. Let me come in. If you want to compare and Makafuli and this situation, America Bati is a two different thing. Makafuli was what those guys who believe in the Pan-Africanism, so they don't want to deal with the West. So he did that on his own to deal with his neighbors. So it's different.
Excellent
so
point.
It's different.
Excellent point.
Yeah, so it's different. But this one, we don't know.
Listen, the president will communicate it.
We don't know. Yeah, this one we don't know. But one thing I will agree with, during the campaign, the Unity Party told the Liberian people that Joe Boka will not be campaigning.
He will not even campaign. Thank you.
I knew Ben was doing something for a reason. I knew it.
Yes, the people bought it.
Remember.
So nothing Joe Boka is doing that the people did not buy. So what is saying here is a lot of folks, right? A lot of folks knew this, but they beat on the past government. But they knew this. So it is strange for Joe Boka not to go. No, they told you guys, and you guys supported it. So, okay, Joe Boka, and let me say this lastly. Let me say more stuff will come out. The only thing I love about Liberian people, they love to talk. They love to talk. This thing was not hitting. It was not. You continue to talk. That's all. For 6 years, you'll continue to talk.
Yeah,
there's a feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a feedback. Very beautiful show today. I'm happy to be here with you guys. And this is my place.
Reg, you don't give me a closing argument now, no?
Yeah?
It's not your closing argument. Just speak to the issue.
Oh, I thought he said that was my closing argument.
It's closing now.
Oh, he said my closing argument.
Yeah, because of time, we're closing now.
Yeah. Well, I would say, Mr. President, when Robert Kagwa and how they call it, John Lobo used to be on that show, remember? They used to be playing that song for you. Mr. President, lead us well. No, they used to play for Jovia. Follow us well. You need to go on like people well because they voted for you. They believe in you. And so if you're not well, Papa, stay home. You don't have to attend any program for the next 6 years. What Ben was saying, I agree with him. Liberian people said that they wanted Joseph Boakai as president. They knew his condition, they knew his age, although he's still carrying a resettlement age, but sure, probably around 85. But he's saying that he's 80 years old. So he's 79.
Yes, you're probably something else.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it's 68, 70-year-old woman. He said the woman was in high school where he was arrested. Charlie mother.
Thank you. So the age business, we didn't even know the right age, but the Liberian people knew because his, his health show, the way he acted, the way he interacted. If you compare him to the Ghanaian president, you will know, you will see the difference. Because I meant to in 79.
There you go.
Yeah, somebody like Brent people, voted President Bouakai.
I saw Ouattara yesterday. He was moving.
You see the poster. You people, I swear. Anytime I bought, it's my time to talk. They can't give me.
Yeah, get on my chance to talk, man. Please.
Yeah, especially people. He want me person say I follow him. He say, "Kev, give me chance." Anyway,
Don't mind.
yeah. Anyway, we would like our president to be in good health. So if he cannot go to a program or whatsoever they're expecting to go to, he is allowed to stay home as well. The Constitution also said the president has a right. So just how the citizen has right, the president has his own right. So we're not going to force him into anything like that. Concerning Prince C. Johnson, I know Prince C. Johnson, what I've seen is that he got caught up in something that we don't understand because we don't know, except he come out to the public and actually tell the story, what really happened with his nomination in the recent nation. We will not know. That's why it's always good to be able to speak out. You have stop allowing these people to get away with stuff when it happened to you. Because we have to set a precedent and change our nation for our future generation. Prince Johnson was man enough to resign her post, but the other woman who lied on her resume, and she pushed until they nominated her. Sarah Bessel is now a foreign minister, but she lied on her resume. It's an issue right there. But Joseph Parker never Prince Johnson because Prince Johnson never had enough money to give, and the people on the platform will not like me because I speak the truth from my guts.
Chris, you are entitled to your opinion. Speak
exactly.
plainly.
So Prince Johnson, this is what you got caught up in, sir. We are sorry, but when the people speak, the president has to listen. The people say they cannot work with you. Their wives say you took away the benefits from their husband, and when you take away the benefits, it means that the women suffer the most because now they got to go out there and find food because their men ain't got enough money to help them with it. So this is where we are. So that is the thing I have to say about Prince C. Johnson. Also, what other topic we talking about today?
These the VPs or private jet.
Mr. VP,
more than 2 minutes though.
No, you want to cut me. You see how you cut me again? I gotta start over.
I gave her my rest of my time.
Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Mr. VP. You were not writing private jet when you were senator. I said it. I will reiterate it. Don't start when you know it will be bad for the country, because if you ride those private jets, it means that something behind it. Either you getting some kickback or to put somebody in certain position or take something away from the government. We don't want our people to continue to suffer. The people saw you and they put you in power, although Prince Johnson or PYJ say that they pay for that position. So you got you in it, but all we know that I bring people for you. So please don't take away from our country. We hope this is just a one-time thing, because George Weah said it was a one-time thing and lasted for the rest of his presidency. We don't want it to happen like that. And everybody came after him. So we don't want it, and so we will come after you. Doesn't mean that we hate this government. We just want to set the precedence for our future generation of babies to be better. And we can't continue like this if we try to back the people that we love and not tell them the truth. So this is where I want to end. I want to thank you.
No, don't forget the recorded address by the president. You didn't
yes,
that part.
But because Kev gave me a time.
I gave my time.
But Tomalin, you yell like Greta to all day now.
I gave my time on that.
Kev is not talking.
Waste my time to her.
But that Captain, she just concluded.
But you already
know.
Okay, but let her just speak to this. Let her just speak to this one.
I get my time. Right.
Go ahead, Grace.
Y'all took away all the rights.
Well, Grace, go ahead now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm talking now. Y'all took, I know, y'all took away all the rest from we are government. I came after him when it came to winning issue. But certain things they were already right, and now we see that y'all can't handle this thing, and that's why maybe the people who are just kept we are in that position. Who knows? I see why the country was this split, because I was wondering. I said, well, how do people with all the rape cases and things, just for what I fight against, how do people can vote and want to vote this man in? But that was not only all the people were looking at, because we couldn't come down to that place. The general minister could handle that. So now I see why the country is split this way, because the same exact thing they were complaining about, which was his right to speak, on recording. If he did not feel like that day to come to the public, Now your president doing it, and we suspect that he will be doing it more and more because now the age he at. So we just think, so you people, what is good for Peter is good for Paul. We did not agree for this government to get in power, for our president to speak to us through recordings. We would like the president to come out and speak. And today program with the army, what the program they had. I mean, it was so bad that the president missed that. Even if they had a little ceremony for him to just cancel the entire celebration, it looked bad for the country. And it's not good for our people. Thank you.
Chris, you can have my brother Pee-wee time too, Chris.
Tomalin, no.
I should have.
Good time, no.
What are you doing for today?
Thank you.
Oh, why you want to take away my rights?
Okay, do go ahead.
I think great conversation. We'll continue to make this argument. First and foremost, let me say this. If the military is engaged in mutiny, the last place I want to be at BTC. So I think it's a security decision. I support that. I don't think it's something to mark because this was a major issue. I like to extend further by saying this. Beware of false prophets. Those who come to you in sheep's clothing, but are inwardly ravenous wolves. I think we're watching a real life lesson.
Describe UPO, Duke.
We're watching real life, a real time, sample size of hypocrisy. And I always mention my brother Kev because Kev is really comfortable with me being who I am, and that's something I respect him about because the relationship we have, there's nothing, that's fake or so. He knows me, he knows what I stand for, and he respects that. But just to bring you all to my closing as a summary, today we're talking about private jet. Yesterday we're talking about private jet. But listen, though, the only difference when it comes to that conversation, if we have rotating forces, those who are on the pros are now on the cons, and those who are on the cons are now on the pros. Evident. That's what we're going through, right? Hypocrisy, ravenous wolves. The same people who told us and called us enemies of the state for holding the government accountable, when spoke to our president Joshua and said, listen, Mr. President, you said you met certain things in the conference today. The former presidents disagree that she left more than what's being stated. Mr. President, audit the previous government and let's bring some level of clarity. You brought the Pitt and the Crow report, which report suggested that the government should conduct forensic auditing. We asked the government to conduct forensic auditing to provide us with the evidences needed to justify the statement that the president made. Again, they refuse. But listen, though, those who are in the position of playing the con role today were in the pro role with the government. They label us enemies of the states and they criticize us. And all of those people who were against the actions of the government today now are certainly supportive of the same things that we're critical of. This is the brand of hypocrisy. At what point in time does it stop? At what point in time do we come to the realization that the only damage that we're creating is a damaged nation? A nation that continues to fall prey to these actions, to all of these things that undermine our growth and development. We need to be serious about moving Liberia forward. We have settled for all of the system characters. In the end, it is going to be up to the Liberian people to determine how to move forward. The president does not have to fly on every trip. Yeah, I agree with Ben. That's what you voted for. The president does not have to, give national broadcast in person. Hey, if that's what they want to do, that's what you voted for. We gave you a perfect option, something better. You rejected it. You settled for the system. Okay, in the end, we're faced with this. So we have to suck it up. We don't want to hear complaints. We don't want to hear back and forth because all of you who are fighting with a section of people who are courageous enough to take on the establishment and stand their ground. You supported these actions on both ends. So excuse me with the noise. Let the government work. You settled for it. You know this day was coming. You knew these things were going to happen. We don't want to hear noise. We're just here to be in the middle and speak our truths if necessary. Thank you, Tommy. Thanks, team. Let's continue to have this conversation. Mr. President, do your job. We're voting for you. We will support you.
Okay, Robert.
they look. I disagree on the basis that the president, this is what we voted for, and the president is not obligated by law to travel. Listen here, when the president,
Guys, please mute yourselves.
when
There's
Unity
feedback.
Party
Mute
campaign,
yourselves.
when Unity Party campaign, they were very explicit. They said that Joseph Boaga did not have health issues. So they said he had no health issues. So as far as I'm concerned, we didn't elect a handicap. Joseph Boaga is not incapacitated in any way as far as I'm concerned. I keep hearing you guys saying this is what we voted for. What exactly is that we voted for? We voted for a president who will restrict himself to Monrovia and some parts of Africa. Is that what we voted for? If that's the case, then where was this information? We voted for a president who wasn't healthy? This is not the fact. Because from all indications, they told us that Joseph Boaga had no health issues, that he was fit. He was mentally, physically fit to carry out the responsibilities as our president. And so I'm not going to settle for if the president should consider his health. If the president can't travel, he's not forced to travel. This is what we voted for. No, we did not vote for a handicapped president. The other day, Ben Sanvee, Chairman Ben, was talking about the fact that he didn't want to see the president stand or sit at the State of the Nation address, and he made a great point, which is we did not vote for a handicapped president. So why should the president sit? Did we vote for a president that we knew was sitting on a wheelchair? No, we didn't. So I disagree with that. Now, if the president, for any reason, be it health or whatever, cannot fully carry out the responsibilities that we demand from him, then he must resign. Simple as that. If they want to tell us that the president is an old man and that's an excuse as to why he can't go out there, look, how else would you raise funds for the country? Every Liberian president in recent time had to travel, had to go out there and sell the nation. And so this whole thing about, oh, I can't go to this place, or I can't go to this place because there's a health concern, or I can't stand too long. This is not what we voted for. We voted for a fully fit president of Liberia, and we're expecting to fully carry out his responsibilities. And if there's any reason why he can't do so, then the Senate and the House of Representatives must get involved. With regards to this whole Prince Johnson thing, I'm disappointed because we have a professional military personnel now caught up in the midst of a political appointment. I believe that this man still have many, many years to offer his expertise to the army. I don't think that the idea of having folks retire early is the way forward for political appointments. And I'm hoping that this is a lesson learned, that our leaders make decisions that are wise and in the interest of our country. This man should have stayed with the AFL and carry out his responsibility. Now, if he resigns, he has already retired. How does that benefit us as a country? How does that benefit us as a country? Last but not the least, the Commerce Ministry released a statement sometime last week that they had reduced
Saturday
fuel of gas at $850. That information turned out to be extremely misleading, because January 15, when the Commerce Ministry under George Weah released the statement that should have taken place effective January 19th, the retail fuel price was at $845. There is no gas station in Liberia right now that is selling fuel for over $845. And so for the executive mansion to have released that information shared by the press secretary, I thought that was completely misleading. So if they reduce gas price, to 850 Liberian dollars, then what did they reduce it from? What was it previously? And I thought that was extremely misleading information, because as I speak to you today, my folks got gas in the single area for $800. 2 days ago, it was at $879. No gas station has been selling fuel retail for over $850. And I think the executive mansion must clarify this information.
Well, I don't know. I think the price of gas was increased, not reduced. That's what I saw on the
They
site.
said they reduced it instead of increasing it.
I made a mistake because I know it's 22 cents, 25 cents. But anyway,
on Imagine they said they reduced it.
okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Let me do my closing, but before then, let me thank Grace. Grace made a donation to our Cash App program. Thank you, Grace. So I encourage all of you, every one of us here, to make a contribution. I'm going to do mine in a few minutes, and I encourage everyone else to do it as well to keep the show going.
Is that because I give her? Is that because I gave her Kev's time?
You got Kev give her his time.
Okay, give me a time.
But you didn't announce Grace on your announcer first.
Greg, do you want me to announce it? Greg gave a generous donation of $75.
Go ahead, announce it. Okay,
Thank you, Greg. $75. I'm going to give as well in a few minutes. But let me say this, bro.
We're talking about accountability and transparency.
All right, but until you give your, I'll not be naming. Until you give your Sylvester, I'll not be naming. I'll not be calling the name. I will
always do too many.
Sylvester is a big giver, so
he's a generous giver. But look, guys. Let me say this. You had a young man who was strong, healthy in mind and body. You say he 1%. You had another man. Who was strong. You said no. We'll take away 20,000 on our vote. We'll begin by 20,000. You brought in the rescue. The rescue can't even go to the first meeting they have it, and you say the rescue bring it.
We'll get information tomorrow. Not official yet.
Okay. So the thing is,
like you already wasted, Tomalin.
We gotta respect the charge of the Liberian people. The president has the right, whether he want to try or not, that prerogative. You know. Also on that flight thing, I think the optic was bad. I think Jeremiah Kuna should look better. That we were planning pressure than we are for flying private jets on many occasions. And then you come back, you show the same thing again. The same thing. You're on the plane, and you know who I put that picture? That had one son. If someone put on Facebook in the diary and take the picture of Daddy right. You just start his son wants to put the picture, you going to put it on Facebook. I don't think
we like to take your stuff.
First something and you are second.
Yeah,
he
yeah. I hope we are conscious, but I think on the Prince Johnson resignation, I don't think the president should have accepted it. I don't think he should have let the people lure him into doing that. I think those people should have been put in a safe place to demonstrate. And then but you got two trained military guys who you retire with before the time. That's bad for the country. Very bad. Thank you. But hey, get to the Cash App, man. You're not talking until you give to the Cash App.
Let me say this. Starting from the Prince Johnson situation, I maintain my position. I think Prince Johnson, look, he's a fine soldier, fine public servant. He's not perfect. Maybe there were some issues, but I think today the president got boxed in. I think the president was, I don't want to say blackmailed, but I think he got boxed in today. When you have soldiers using their wives to do words to carry out a mutiny, or whatever, right? Whatever that happened today. My fear here is the precedents that have been set, and I fear that we may have a repeat of this with different segments of the country. I agree that it is well within their right to protest, well within their right to demand the benefits. That's not what I'm talking about here. But what I do believe is that when it comes to the issue of leadership, there must be, and I hear everybody say, well, the military and all of that. I agree. I'm just saying, I just thought the way it happened, I thought it was not the best way to have been carried out, because other people can use it as a way to say, well, the military wives got their way, so we can get our way. And so we're dealing with that. On the issue of the private jet, like I rightly said, I think at the end of the day, it was good for Peter, should be good for Paul. I think Jeremiah Kuhn should have known better. taking a ride and all of that. Like Pee-wee said, maybe they should utilize the diplomatic, if they don't want to fly a commercial, maybe call the president of Nigeria. He will send you his plane. Call the president of Ghana. President Weah specifically said, because I think the first trip President Weah made out of Liberia as president, he rode the Ivorian president's plane. I remember that. He rode in fact, I think it was Ivory Coast he went to his first state visit. He rode the Ivorians sent their plane for him. And then when he took that same plane to Burkina Faso to do another visit, that's when he said his friend saw him and said, "But Mr. President, I can let you use my plane to boost your morale." Those were his exact words. And I know the Unity Party took it and they ran with it. And since that day, President Weah didn't look back. He just flew private jet for the presidency, right? So maybe Kuhn and starting, maybe they will just continue to fly all the way through. Who knows? But again, elections have consequences. They do. If the president and the vice president feels that it is well within their security to fly private jet, heck, we'll pay for it. We voted for them. We will pay for it. That is what you get when you vote for somebody. Elections have consequences. My third point and final point has to do with the what was the last? You got the way Chris look here. I mean, let's see what. Hey man, what was the last topic? She made me lose my train of thought. I said the president travel. I mean, and I will stick it again. I will defend this president's right to govern the best way he can govern. I will defend his right. I didn't vote for him, but he's my president now. If Joe Boyka needs us to buy him a private jet, we will buy Joe Boyka a private jet. He's the president of the country. All they need to do is to explain to the country that it's for security reasons. Like Pee-wee said, the president can be all in economic class and doing all kind of thing. You didn't vote for a president who said he was going to do those things. I heard my brother Larry say the president of Mexico can fly economy. Yes, the president of Mexico, maybe he campaigned. Maybe he campaigned that he was going to fly economy. Joe Boyka never told you he was not going to fly private jet. He never did, right? He never said that he will attend every conference. He never said that either. Again, if the president, whether it's helpful, whether it's he got state functions, whether he ain't got time to go, we're saying his foreign minister, Mr. President, we want you to perform. So if you're going to have to stay in the country and don't attend no foreign visit, don't make no foreign trip. In fact, you'll be saving the country a lot of money. Mr. President, you have my support. I think you should go ahead and govern the country according to the way you should be governed. I told Tomalin this thing before you.
But that's not the way the country should be governed.
But please, let me. You see,
give me your closing.
Yeah, let me do my closing, Robert. I know you vote for the man anyway, so you don't got to be vexed. Let me say this: that Duke should be vexed right now because that Duke voted for.
No, I'm not vexed. I think.
So I'm telling you, Duke, I support this. So my last point here is this: Tomalin George, I told you.
When Duke mentioned the PF4,
I told you this, right? Tomalin George, I told you this. I said Joe Boyka will not be one of the most traveled president Liberia has had, and I support the president. He don't have to travel. In fact, if the UN come, he can send his vice president. If the UN come, he can send his foreign minister. The president is needed home. We got economic issues at home. We got domestic issues at home. I think the president should be able to be given the opportunity to govern the country the way he best feel he can govern the country. JMB, you my president. I support you, and you don't got to worry about that.
I'm glad that Ben can be sarcastic a little bit, and
no, but he's not being sarcastic.
No. I mean, in all reality, I think I sense the sarcasm in his statement, and in all honesty, it's fair. It's okay. We warn Liberians about what.
For the record, I'm not being sarcastic. I support the president.
But Ben, even if you aren't being sarcastic, I mean, I would take it at some level of sarcasm because to listening to you say the president should be allowed to sit in the comfort of his own. As a matter of fact, I would recommend if I were you, Ben, I'll probably recommend to the president to work remote every day. That would be much more comfortable. That would be
We
much
live
more.
in a global. We live in a village in a
Exactly.
technology
You
world right
forgot
now.
that part, Ben. You forgot that part. You didn't add it to your
Yeah.
statement. I'm just saying you probably should add it next time.
Yeah,
You
we
should
gotta go. It's not,
you should work from the
The
comfort of the
president-
Zoom. But here's what I want to talk to, right? In regards to the Prince C. Johnson issue here. I think again, Honorable Boycott, President Boycott truly showed us that he lacked leadership. The fact that he acted the way he acted, okay, it proves a lot of things that we highlighted during the elections. That again, Honorable Boycott shouldn't have been the man considered for this position because to some extent he was incapacitated, and he is incapacitated. He's proven us right continuously. We can say we have been vindicated for the most part. Secondly, speaking to this whole issue of Jeremiah Cohen flying the private jet, Liberians should know better. Okay, and Jeremiah Cohen should be ashamed of himself for exhibiting such a behavior, knowing the current state of the nation and the way people are living. All right, how many Liberians can afford transportation from their homes to school or hospitals? We barely have it. And one will want to make the case that he's the vice president, so it's okay. Okay, the same complaints that we had against President Weah for flying around in private jets. Today, like Duke rightfully said, the level of hypocrisy, yesterday it was bad. Today is okay because it was done once. Now we are trying to move the goalposts. We're trying to where, how, and all of the needed justifications. It's sad. We can never move Liberia forward with this kind of mindset, these kind of behaviors. We cannot continue to lower the bars. We must continue to move it a little bit higher so that we can compete with other nations. Our neighbors are moving forward. While our neighbors are progressing, we are regressing. I think, Ben, again, let me just add this to it. You should also offer the president an ambulance because the previous senator did the same thing. He offered an ambulance. So maybe
the speaker, the Buffer Chambers.
Buffer Chamber offered him an ambulance. So maybe that's great. Look, guys, let us take Liberia serious for once. Other nations are laughing at us. If we don't start, our generation, it is heavily upon us to move the needle in the right direction. Whether you agree with me or you disagree, I think it's only time that we start to hold these government officials accountable. We are no longer in the season of party trick. We are no longer in the season of party trick. We should now start to politic. And politicking is not simply lies upon lies upon lies of what you cannot do or claim to do. I think we should be able to find solution to our problems. And not only should we be able to state this solution, but have them implemented. Honorable Boycott should not sit in his home to work. Honorable Boycott should not use any excuses to not attend all of these different conferences or events that he's supposed to be at. He should go there. We elected him as an energetic, healthy president that he told us he was. And so he should do everything possible to make sure he served the people and served the people beyond all reasonable doubts. I end on this note here. I am not speaking against anybody's protests, okay? Protests I support. But the president's reaction to that protest, we should expect a lot more protests. And we hope that every time people protest, the president will react in this way. And of course, we will not simply just send another audio recording. Instead, he will actually address the nation, something that we all frown at. We said President Weah was not addressing us, and we needed him to address the nation. And now here we are again. We have President Weah version 2 addressing us via audio recording. Thank you.
Mr. Gongo, take her home.
No, I haven't. He's taking her home.
Yeah.
All right, so, gentlemen, I know we spent a little bit of time here. I know the guys in Monrovia need to leave the studio.
Yes.
I would say two things. First, I'm maintaining my position. The forced resignation of General Johnson, retired General Johnson, was orchestrated, was planned as a pay bite against Z and General Zianga, because the Unity Party believed that Brownie Samoga lost his seat because General Johnson and General Zanga did not stand by Brandon Samoka during the court process. That is, I believe. And that's why this was well planned, orchestrated, and that's what happened. The issue raised by the wives of the military were not issues that Prince Johnson would have had any control over. And like you listen to President Boyka, even if he said these were issues that were existing, that he said, well of that, are there issues that you can blame the defense, the retired general for? Certainly not. But it was planned as a payback. And guys, in coming days and coming weeks, these will become apparent. It will reveal itself that yes, General Zanga and Prince Johnson are actually paying dearly with their career, based on the machinations and strategy of the United Party as a payback. The other issue I would say is on the issue of whether Mr. Walker would travel or whether he would not travel, guys, let's focus on the constitutional matter. The president was elected to lead the country based on the Constitution. So if not traveling is not in violation of the Constitution, for me, is less of an issue because traveling, you travel out of the country or bring dividends. If he can sit in Monrovia or in Vanjama and get exactly what he can get if he goes to Washington, D.C., or if he goes to South Africa, if he can get that, so be it. And it is his administration. The way he wants it, I know in 6 years, we're going to be going back to election and we'll look at his scorecard and say, hey, this is what you promised to do and this is why you didn't do it. Whether it's a failure, not a failure, why it's a failure, why it's a success, we'll debate the issue by then, 2029. So, but I don't think we should focus on whether he's going to travel or not travel. For me, will he get a job done? Let's err on the side of caution that you will get a job done. Whichever method he uses, that's fine with me. Let us not dwell on the issue of the travel, okay? And I think, I mean, when we're in opposition, some people beat president. We are on this many times. I remember on one show I was using the late president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, to defend President Weah for not maybe doing certain things. Look, you don't have to go to a foreign nation in a globalized world today. In the age of technology, you can sit right there and have conference and even attend different meetings. You know, you can do that. So I don't think we should be the president on that. And I will say this. I think the other issue we need to look at is the vice president trip. There is nothing, it has nothing to do with optics. It has to do with violation of the code of conduct. And I would say the House of Representatives, maybe I would say Representative Yega Kolubash, pick on this issue and put it on the floor. He's in violation of the code of conduct. And let's debate it. Should the president of the country, the vice president of the country, should they be using private jet of a businessman who is trying to re-influence in Liberia? He did not meet him in Ghana. He did not meet him in Lagos or Abuja. He met him in Monrovia. So that means the man was in Monrovia trying to buy influence. And that's exactly what is happening.
Okay.
I'll be very brief. Mr. Polo said two things. He went to six different issues. So I'll be very brief. Quickly, I believe that there's something diplomacy referred to as sit-down meeting. Yes, sit-down meeting is very important and vital in diplomacy. So it's very important that the head of state will have to leave and travel, make some international travel to get some things done. That is very critical in diplomacy. Now, quickly, I would want to believe that one of the major elements of democracy also is protestation. And I do agree, folks will have the right to go out and express their grievances, and the leader will sometimes, in some cases, listen, and some of the leader will, according to the situational approach, the leader will take a decision to that problem. But again, I would think that the country moving forward, our military is on course, the democracy is protected, and the president will have to find the time to move, because the foreign minister won't sit in the head of state's meeting. The foreign minister will be limited to sit in the council of ministers meeting and the rest of that. So the president would have to move to protect us and move and represent our country in very important functions. We have the African Leader Club already. The old man from Cameroon, he moves through the system. Our man from Zimbabwe, our man from Ouattara is in the 80s, our man from Accra, Ghana. They will call in the African Leader Club. They will have to move things. So I think they look forward to meeting the president and having a lot of things done. But it's important that the president will have to make, that is important in public diplomacy. Sit-down meeting is very vital in getting things done. And that's the reason why world leaders will have to meet in the G7, the G20. They will have to meet in person to have things done. And that's part of the reason why in Brussels, the EU ministers and head of states, we have to meet in Brussels. Why do you think the broader United Nations here in New York, all leaders will have to converge on New York? Why would this thing happen? It's important. The AU summit. Why do we go to Ethiopia, Addis Ababa? The ECOWAS. Why would we move to Abuja for all those things? It's important that we have the representation. I mean, it was a very good show. We look forward to.
Okay. The press secretary just confirmed that the president will not be attending the AU summit. She just confirmed to me, so it's official now that he will not be attending the AU summit. So Ben, you are right.
Yeah, but I got that intelligence almost a week ago.
Yeah, so she just confirmed it will be attending. So that means President Biden will not be going.
Tommy, did they say why though? Did they say why?
No.
Present state matters. Present state.
Yeah. But for programming note, tomorrow we'll have Mr. Bility with us as our special guest. We'll touch on the issue of security, especially the issue concerning the defense minister.
Ben knows how to get under people's skin. He knows how to get under people's skin. He's doing good.
Also, Yeke just came from Nigeria. He will be getting with us soon. He sent me some message today, so hopefully he will brief us on what's happening. He seems to be the face of the opposition now so far. PYJ too is not happy. I'll reach out to him tomorrow to see what are the public.
Yeah, I will call PYJ tomorrow.
Yeah. And congratulate the Ivorian national team.
You want stairs on your own?
No.
They won the African Cup of Nations. I was I gave it to them. They won. They played a beautiful game and won it. And Kansas City Chiefs for the Super Bowl, the Alman team, but I couldn't talk much loud before they got whipped again. So, and also over the weekend, I represented us Jerry Limick Pia Fairway. He's going to be information minister, and he's the only guy so far I see that have been nominated with no noise behind him.
Oh no! I definitely He's great.
That's actually he's not the only.
No, not the only guy. How's about Jara?
Person,
Why
you make categorical statement like
that? Tomalin.
I take it back.
He says the only person. The man
we are going to go serve represent well. I'm sure
what Tomalin is speaking to.
He will definitely be our guest on the closing argument anytime with you.
When Kula coming?
So yeah.
When Kula coming?
Maybe the first month then Kula.
Tomalin, Mr. Andrew, please, man. Mr. Andrew, I don't know how to say his last name, but Dabweson, the guy who insulted me the last time. I think I sent you guys a message. He reached out and apologized. Can we unblock him, please?
I look for them. I know that.
Yeah, I accept his apology. And he messaged the show.
I'll unblock him. I didn't block him, but I'll unblock him.
Please do that. He messaged the show. He said he missed hearing us talk.
Actually, I think it's bad. I think it's bad.
You know what? Then he need to keep his mouth from cussing people.
So no, he apologized.
He apologized already.
Peewee, because you close to this government more than anybody else.
Why you? Peewee,
what's the state of the justice minister?
Not just Peewee alone. Tomalin, you say you see.
No.
So listen. We don't want to get things wrong here. I'm not close whatsoever, nothing, right? I'm not. And I said it last time. The good thing about it is no most of those that are appointed, they are competent.
What's the start of the justice minister?
The process is still, I think they're trying to pull reschedule his hearing.
Also, also the internal affairs minister, they cut his confirmation. What happened?
Yeah, the internal affairs confirmation was cut short because the Senate, the information I got from the Senate that they needed to confirm quickly the Minister of Defense and the Chief of Staff for the preparation of the Armed Forces Day ceremony. So they interrupted the confirmation of the internal affairs minister to focus on to do an expedition confirmation process for the Minister of Defense that just resigned and that of the Chief of Staff and the Deputy Chief of Staff. So that's what they did. And that very day they confirmed them. But the Attorney General situation is still on, trying to set a schedule to see when
Ben, the cabinet, the whole cabinet has been
So
appointed
my
now,
brother
right?
Pee-wee is that close to this
Cabinet
government.
appointed now.
No, we still left with
Lands and Mines.
Minister of Lands and Mines. Yeah, Minister of Lands and Mines only now because we do have.
I'm here, people go there, right?
Yeah, that's
Minister of Labor.
Yeah, Minister of Labor. We do
But
have.
I hear Wema Pay and Carlos Smith are the two people for those.
That's not a veteran.
But the president is young.
Lofa, you're trying to say something.
Now I was trying to say you're not close to this government, but you got all the information.
Why you got a memo?
I'm a political person. I'm a
No,
I'll get the
I'm
information.
just saying. I'm just saying.
Mr. President, Mr. President, if you're listening, please do not listen to Chairman Ben Sanvee.
Carlos, what you mean? Why you mean Carlos Smith? Oh, the president young?
Are you a new progressive?
I am a new progressive.
You guys are the war mongers?
As a matter of fact, I'm the drum mayor of the new progressive.
No, I think the man new progressive is different from America.
Guys, tomorrow, let's engage the honorable representative from Nimba District 7 tomorrow. Let's engage him. Come and ask him all the questions.
What you talking about? Musa Hassan Bedede?
Yes, he'll be our guest tomorrow.
Is he still? He still maintain his position as representative? I thought he said if Kumi don't win the election, he's gonna quit.
No, that was political talk.
I beg you, I'm not going to I beg you.
No, he has to answer that question.
I'm political talk.
Message here will bring a fan.
But Musa will answer you.
Musa will answer. He didn't Musa again.
So Ben, so when they don't come, because they don't say you're coming out. When you coming out, you're coming.
They don't not come on the show.
The other thing is that Robert and Lofa cannot be on the show.
No, we'll be on. Oh no, Tomalin.
I'll say the back. I'll say the back. I beg you, yeah.
And you will not come. You will not come. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Guys, man, look.
Thank
you, guys, man. We'll see you tomorrow. About. You'll get ready for Musa tomorrow.
All right, guys.
I'll call you after the show, Ben.
Okay. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Why am I getting out of here?
Your family members abroad need to send you money? Worry no more. Henceforth, receive your international money transfers from Europe, USA, and South Africa made via Western Union, MoneyGram, and many more directly into your Orange Money account. At Orange Money, we are family. Your family members abroad need to send you money? Worry no more. Henceforth, receive your international money transfers from Europe.
Let your celebration begin with Park Liquor Outlet, your first Liberian-owned liquor store in the city of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We have everything that you need to set that special occasion or bride. For your next party or great get-together with friends, visit Park Liquor Outlet. We have great selection of beer, wine, gin, and many more at affordable prices. Our customer service will make you always want to come back. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.